I'm Lady Bro Flacco.
Yo,
This is Holden Stephan Roy.
That's right. And we are here
Uh-huh.
today.
We are Bridge the Gap, and our guest today is Frank Stacks.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me, y'all. I guess I'll be the Liddy cousin. Is that appropriate?
Liddy Bro Stacks. Liddy Bro Stacks in the building.
Everybody's
Liddy
a
Bro
Liddy
Stacks in
bro.
the building.
You just become a Liddy bro. You just get like, it's like the Borg in a sense. You just become, you get assimilated.
It's like
into
Negan.
it.
It's like Negan. We are Negan. We are Liddy Bros.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, everybody's Liddy Bro. So this is our show, Bridge the Gap, right? And usually Holden opens up, which is why right now he like keeps on trying to jump in, and he's like, "What's happening here? This is so weird."
It is very,
He's like, "What's going on?"
very bizarre.
Flacco switching everything up on me before I'm ready.
It happens.
It happens. So usually Holden opens up, but I opened up, right? And he has like an opening up question, right? But like it's a whole different format, right? And instead of doing that, right, I'm gonna ask you first, front off the bat, first question before he gets to ask anything is please introduce yourself to the people, tell them who you are and where you're from.
All right, I like that. All right, cool. All right, so that's easy. My name is Frank Stacks. I'm from the Bay Area, Hayward, California. I guess you could say, I'm a battle rapper. I don't battle rap a lot, but over the years you might see me pop in and out the scene here or there. And I've been making music for shit as long as I was able to find a place to record some shit. So long time, man, long time.
Fair
Appreciate
enough.
having me on.
That's a great answer. All right, so then, yeah, no, I'm so like thrown off. I'm like, I don't even know how to transition properly right now. So then, typically, Flacco would just break down why we're doing all this and tell his story of how this all came
let's
to
do
be.
that. Let's keep on going with the exact
let's go
flow of
with it.
it,
Let's go
except
with
we
it.
just did it a little bit different this time. So check it, bro. So like the way this show came about, right, was like I was doing the Liddy Bro album, rollout and whatnot, and the engineer from that project was a homie from Montreal, and he mixed down the whole project and he shared our stuff. And like, he's one of those engineers that like works with a lot of people, but then doesn't share any of their stuff ever anywhere, because then it sets a precedence that he has to kind of share everyone's all the time, So like he steers clear of that, but he shared ours. And that sparked Holden's interest because Holden's been his friend for a minute. And he noticed that, like, I know this guy engineers. I know he works with a lot of people. I know he doesn't ever promote anything. So for him to promote this, it's got to be pretty all right. So he went, checked it out, and he came across Liddy Bros. And then he did like a album review on us. And it was like wildly incredibly well articulated. The man was incredibly well articulated, right? And then so I was like, yo, we should do an interview. We did an interview, right? And let me tell you, Frank, bro, after that interview, I was like, what the fuck? Why is it that I've done hip hop for so long and I never got asked some of these questions? You know what I mean? Like growing up, like Baby Flacco, Baby Dutch, Baby Gap Man. You know what I mean? Like, why didn't I get ever asked about any of that? And then so immediately, typical hood motherfucker that I am, right? You know what you do. As soon as you like come up on some fly shit, what you do? You hit up the homies like, yo, I came up on this dope shit, you should do this as well. And so here we are. Like I've been hitting up all of y'all and hitting y'all up because I want y'all to sit with the homie Holden and like get asked some of these questions that like he's really good at asking and shit.
Like
so
I like how you said that he critiqued the album and the way that he did it was like so intricate because usually somebody will critique your shit whether it's good or bad. It's like, oh, that's dope. It's dope. Yeah, I like that one song. But when somebody actually can dive into where they're actually listening to shit, like from an engineer standpoint, like, and they can appreciate it, that gives it makes you feel a bit better about the fucking work you're doing. So like that's dope.
Yeah. I was listening to your work too. You're quite a wonder. Your flows is like your versatility, the airiness, the way you dance on a beat. Lyrically, it's like, man, you're funny. I don't know how else to put it. Like you do everything. I saw those clips of you doing like I saw everything. So it's like hard to like put it, but your songwriting then kicks in and it's like anyway. What's really though
Yeah,
like,
near the end there, like we go live before the show on like Holden's end with like his Twitch audience, and like he just plays like music from the artist or battles, whatever they have online. You know, some guys is just like some cool interviews they got online. You remember Jay Smooth from back in the grind time days and shit, you know, so like with Jay Smooth, we'll like sit there, watch like a whole, you know, TED talk or something like that. Yeah. But like we were playing your music and like at the end, like out of nowhere, I don't know if like Holden pressed that one song on purpose or not, but it was like, it was totally different than like a majority of all the other, you know, Rap is a Joke content. But like, it just goes to show like the versatility and like, the ability, the tool, where the toolkit really is, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy, bro, because we're so known for doing the Rap is a Joke shit because it's to be honest, it's more marketable than any hood shit. Like people, like it doesn't matter if it's an old white dude at the bar. If I'm wearing a Rap is a Joke shirt, he wants one. If I'm at a hood show and I see some dudes, they're all fucking like clearly on some rap shit, they want one. So when we started doing Rap is a Joke, but realistically, like we're fucking rappers first. We're rappers that chose like to do comedy. So it's sometimes you have to dig a little deeper before you find, wait, he actually made a serious song? Like, wait a minute, hold on a minute.
We gotta we gotta do this proper. Cause what we do though is we walk through your life and we delve into the journey of who you are. And then all of this stuff comes out in like accidental ways just by the virtue of the way we do it. Cause it started off with this token question that we give, and then you'll get the vibe of it, I think. So it's a bit of a story. And then when it lands and whatnot, you can just kind of take it however you want. It starts out with my girlfriend, and she's washing the dishes, and she's got her phone playing that Black Eyed Peas song, that I got a feeling, ooh. And she's like dancing around, and she's bopping, and she's doing her thing. And I started thinking about this song, because the song is like now in this place where she's doing dishes and chores, and it's playing that role in her life. But if we go back like 10 years ago, I can vividly remember being super drunk in clubs and circles, jumping around to that same very song in a very different vibe and a very different energy. And so I thought it was super nifty how like this one song, as it moved throughout time, has a completely different role and purpose than its original inception, like way back in the day, which got me thinking about all of the club musics today, the Cardi B's, all these different things, and how like 10 years from now they're gonna be the future chores and exercise musics and whatnot that people have getting turned up to. A bunch of kids are gonna watch their moms washing dishes to up, is just what's gonna happen. And then I thought about like how that kind of has like music's on a journey, right? And that got me thinking about our own musical journeys a little bit. And a lot of times when we think about ourselves, we in our music and all the preferences, we start in that adolescent area, because that's when we have our identities and we get our own preferences and stuff. But really, our story doesn't really start there when it comes to music. That's always kind of been around us. It's just been a part of our environments forever. So it got me thinking just for myself, like if I really think about it, I can picture myself being like 4 or 5 years old, and my dad's got all these gray boxes with the wires going to the speakers, and he's playing all these like Led Zeppelin tapes and stuff. And at night it would be like the 90s dance music and different things. And at Christmas we had these like techno dance Christmas song stuff. My mom had disco and other stuff I can't remember, but like all these different sounds kind of just really laid this foundation for like everything that was going to happen with regards to music in my life later on. So I was hoping you could take us back to a young Frank Stacks, like 4 or 5 years old, as early as you could remember, and just tell us a little bit about the soundscape of your existence.
That's a pretty good question. I mean, like Dutch mentioned earlier, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's ever asked me to take it back to 4 or 5, but I could definitely do that, and I appreciate that question. So I guess, you know, growing up, all the time, I feel like my parents were always playing music, like big speakers, you know, early 80s, like always something was bumping. And throughout your childhood, you might not like, you know, some of the shit that your parents listen to or whatever, because you got your own shit once you start, you know, kind of getting in your own groove of what you listen to. But they constantly were listening to, you know, fuck the Grateful Dead, Led Zeppelin, hella blues, and fucking just like, I guess maybe typical shit for like, you know, some rockers in the 80s or whatever it was. But also MTV had just kind of started coming out. So as a kid, you're glued to the TV all the time. Like I was glued to MTV. Like I didn't care what it was. I didn't give a fuck if it was Boy George or motherfucking the Monkeys or like whoever it was on MTV. Like in the early '80s, I was watching that shit. So for me, never really think about it, till now when you ask me the question. But there was always music in every room of the house that I was in. Uh, um, Probably influenced me quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? Like not knowing, like subconsciously, like
Yo, that's amazing.
when I got older, too, and I realized like the shit that I didn't really like that my parents were bumping, now I'm bumping it.
Yo,
Right? Like
big facts.
I love Grateful Dead, bro. I love
that happened. I think that's happening to all of us at the same time, because me and Holden were having a conversation about that, and I grew up with my parents playing Latin music, and I hated it growing up. And now I'm like going back to all those same songs, and like those songs are like what I'm playing on vacation in Puerto Rico. It's just like, why am I listening to this? And it's just like, because it was crack. It was always crack. You just not into it back then.
Yeah, you don't know. And it's funny too. Like some of the older rock shit, like motherfuckers was rapping. Like Grateful Dead was rapping. Like to become a runners up with a daydream. So all that type of shit, like trucking. Like motherfuckers was rapping. Like they just rapping in the '70s. Like it was a whole different. Whatever the fuck they was coming up with, it was music that then fast forward 20 years later when we're rapping. Like that's where the shit came from to begin with, was all the old school shit. So yeah, it does evolve on its own, and then you accidentally evolve with it. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's mad fresh. But before we move on from this era, there's more questions to ask, because you're in the 80s, right? So it's a whole different vibe. I'm only born in 87, and I come from Montreal. So I have no idea, outside of talking to maybe Lush One, what it's like to even remotely be in your part of the world at all. I'm not really up to date on that. So if you're a young one, and like the inception or early hip hop life is starting to pop off, are you like impacted by this outside of the realms of MTV or whatever you're seeing? Are you like influenced by stuff like the dance culture as a young one? Are you a little dancer?
Yeah, well, I actually was in a breakdancing crew in junior high. I fucking sucked at it. But, I can still do a little flair, in the kitchen, when trying to impress my kids.
Talking my language now.
When it came out, we all did a little bit of something, whether it was graffiti or beatboxing or turntables. I feel like in that whole era, when you're addicted to a certain culture or subculture, like you kind of try to tap into all of that shit. Just which one are you good at? Which one are you good at? Maybe you paint really well. Maybe you're good. You do graph. That's your thing. You're addicted to that, or you're good at beatboxing. You make beats, or fuck, you're the one dude that's like, hey, kick a rhyme. So you got to be the one that's fucking rapping this shit. I think that growing up like here in the '80s too, nowadays you have more access to music and shit. Like somebody can pull up their phone and be like, hey, you heard the new so and so? Peep this shit. But back then it was like, I'm 8 years old. There's no way I'm gonna hear NWA unless some older kid down the street is like, hey, come check out this tape I got. You go in and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? They're saying bad words and they're fucking wilding out on some yo, this shit is crazy.
When you're a little kid and you hear bad words on a song for the first time,
like y'all fuck that bit, all that shit. You're like, and I remember even like, because it was kind of new still, like in the early '80s. Like you gotta think, like, what do we have? We had MC Hammer, or not early '80s, but 88, 89. We had Hammer, NWA, the Fresh Prince. Of what we are being shown out here, like what is mainstream. Like mainstream. That's the only shit that touches our ears out here in the Bay Area was mainstream shit. Obviously MC Hammer was, he's from out here, and Humpty was from out here, so we know about Digital Underground and shit like that. But when NWA came, it was like, holy shit, and then you gotta get that tape, and then you gotta listen to it, and you gotta sneak around because you're fucking 7 years old, and you listen to it, hey, Mr. Dope Man, you think you're slick, all that shit. So
so you're like 7 years old getting introduced to NWA because a guy up the street just happened to have the tape, and that's the only way to get it, which I love is how you went with it, because that's half the reason I asked this question is like, get some perspective on life. Sometimes the 17-year-old growing up on YouTube his whole life has a different reality than, say, that reality that you experienced. I know, like, I didn't get exposed to all the elements and stuff, so even just hearing about that is super fascinating to me, and I love. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say there was the one way where I was able to kind of no pun intended, but bridge the gap with, you know, what I'm listening to, what I'm liking, and like how are my parents gonna let me slap this shit? You know what I'm saying? So I remember Will Smith had that song, "You Saw My Blinker, Bitch," right? I mean, that's fucking rap as a joke right there. That whole I don't know if you're familiar with that song, but Dutch, you probably remember "You Saw My Blinker."
I was gonna say Biz Markie picking boogers. There's a whole
Dude,
bunch of
like all the shit where it's like, okay, I can show my mom this, and like she actually think it's dope, to where like, okay, now she fast forward, now she don't give a fuck if I'm slapping gin and juice or whatever the fuck. It might be the case. But also,
so hold up.
I would say
you found like the funny raps to condition your parents into being okay with the serious raps.
Yes, and that includes to what has to go. I have to include this is Weird Al, because motherfucking Weird Al was okay. Let me go back even farther. When did the fucking Transformers movie come out? That's 1985. I got the poster right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a song on that 1985, bro. There's a song on that soundtrack from Weird Al Yankovic, and it's called "Dare to Be Stupid." And I mean, it's basically the 1985 version of "Go Dumb, Go Hyphy," whatever the fuck. So Weird Al was huge because everybody in my house could listen to this shit because it's funny, right? Like Weird Al, rap is a joke. Humpty Hump, rap is a joke. Motherfucking Fresh Prince, rap is a joke. Sure Mix-a-Lot, rap is a joke. Like these type of like humorous elements, Biz Markie, like shit, like they all were doing rap as a joke shit. But when rap was still fresh, rap was still new, like music was already kind of evolving. So for obviously, like, you know, I'm listening to Tupac and NWA and shit like that too. But the shit that was more acceptably listened to, not in the headphones, was that other type of shit.
Yo, that is the most fascinating and first time that has even come up. Like, frankly, comedy rap has not come up at all in any of the interviews I've done with anybody ever. Not that it's like a crazy number, but it's still like enough to be like, this is a first. But then also the reasons that you got into it.
You know what? I think it's kind of funny that it's like that you say that, because like I think that like Frank can like attest, like I think that's part of the reason why him and me and a lot of some of us who in particular used to use comedy in our battles, like the ones that were like a little bit better than the other guys that were just going for senseless, stupid shit, you know, like we kind of like had a great like admiration or respect for each other, you know, and like I definitely like that's a main reason why like I was like really fucking with both you and L Money, you know, back in the day, since like when I first heard y'all, where it was just like, yo, these guys are fucking good. Because it also, like I was telling Holden, it takes more to be funny than it does sometimes other things. Like I feel like the people who can do like funny things in rap are capable of doing everything else easier. Yeah. More so than other guys who maybe don't do like things funny or anything like that, or like entertaining things. They have a harder time getting in that wheelhouse.
Right.
Nah, but I guess, I don't know, whenever I see something completely new that comes up, I just like to like point it out because it's super interesting.
No, you're
and it's going to make me think about that
weird
forever, and I'm going to bring it up in future interviews. Because, the idea of leveraging comedy as a way to get people more interested in that's a practical takeaway for like getting just people more interested in the genre as a whole or the culture. That's fucking cool. But
think about stand-up comedy. Like there's stand-up comedians out there that basically they're preaching, but they're doing it in a comedic way. Like George Carlin, he's always on some political shit, but the motherfucker was hilarious. And you know, like, or sometimes comedians talk about some dark shit, and it's some real shit, but they do it as a funny way to kind of introduce it to people, you know. And yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, it's fresh though. So basically, you're getting introduced to all of this because, I mean, I don't know. I guess, how do you find this music? Like outside of, is it just like random places, or is it MTV? I don't even know how people found Weird Al back then.
Dude, I don't remember how I found how I came across Weird Al, but I knew that once I did, it was a fucking rap. like I had to have.
So you had heard him before that Transformers soundtrack?
No, that was the first time I heard him, but I also didn't know that it was him until I got older, where I realized that part of that movie that I hella liked as a kid, where I was like, that song is so dope, where I'm like, oh, he had a fucking music video for that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
For that song that was in the fucking, in the fucking Transformers movie where they kill Optimus Prime. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, nah, that movie was super impactful to our youth, I think.
yeah. And the music was too. I was bumping the whole soundtrack by the
yeah,
time
no, the music was too. I mean, fucking the lead song is to this day, like, like huge. People are still redoing it.
Yeah,
covering it.
It's like my best friend's favorite movie of all time. It's powerful.
Yeah.
I feel like
so
I
was
missed
in the
the
comments
by a couple of years, but like, I understand how cool it is. Stills, did you try graph? Like, was that something else you dabbled in, or is that something that was around?
Yeah, I mean, I used to do graffiti a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I was never nearly as good as all the other dudes that I knew that did it. But I got books. I got like books of where we would just everybody would do their graffiti in it and shit. And actually, I got a book somewhere. Here, like when you just run into motherfuckers at parties and house parties and shit, and somebody will just do a little throw up in your graffiti book or whatever.
Book. Yeah, I already know.
I got shit from like Fredo and Swarm from like before I even knew who they were. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like way back, like before like we even knew each other as rappers, like early 2000s. From them. In one of my books, I got their shit. I'm like, holy shit, that's wild. Because it's just you get a house party and motherfucker pull out a graph book and tag that shit. But that was like a phase. You know what I'm saying? For me, like. I tried it, I sucked at it, but I was always good at rapping. So
were you like singing when you were young? Like, was that something that was like always around, or were you just like? If you go back,
yeah, I did. I actually did theater in high school, but I fucking sucked at singing so bad, dude. I just couldn't do it. Like I couldn't. Like I wish to this now in hindsight, I wish I took like vocal lessons and shit because it would have improved my my studio abilities quite a bit if I actually was able to harness it. I could sing low like Nate Dogg, but I can't sing. You know what I mean? Like, but like I did theater because there was nothing else really to do like in the arts and shit like that out here. And like I was hella into theater. It was hella bitches, and that was cool. And I think that kind of gave me more like I end up on the stage anyways, you know what I'm saying, doing some shit. So I always had fucking nuts to go up there and do whatever the fuck I wanted to. And that's partly thanks to, trying to do some, theater competitions and shit when I was younger.
Yeah, that's fresh. So like when did you develop, like was that just because of the convenience of it? Like you went to high school and it was just there and you went into it? Or were you like already kind of interested in that when you were younger and already wanted to be in the spotlight a bit?
Yeah, I was pretty wild. I was pretty outgoing and shit. But I think that I never would have just been like, oh, I want to act or nothing. But I was. You had to pick your, you got to pick your fucking electives as a freshman. And I was in like drama class or some shit. And I was like, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be in there. I actually got stuck in on accident. And I was like, this fucking sucks, man. Like I don't want to be here with all these fucking weirdos. And they didn't have a lot to choose from. I remember like not like going through like what electives were left. Like I wasn't gonna take German and Spanish or whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? So I'm in the fucking drama class, and then it ended up the teacher was hella dope, and she like introduced us to like all kind of movies and shit that I never would have knew about, like just certain actors and like how they're able to play roles and like Christopher Walken and all this kind of shit that like nobody else is gonna sit you aside and show you this stuff. Like again, you got to discover things on your own unless somebody puts you in front of it.
That you wanted.
She was, really adamant about, look, you dumb motherfuckers, you need to learn about like movies, and like all the time, it's like, your parents got to sign this permission slip so you could watch this wild ass film I'm about to show you. But that was a big part of it too. You know what I mean? Just being like seeing all the shit that I
Porky's and shit, watching Porky's at school.
I wouldn't have watched it. I wouldn't have came home from school and chose to watch it. Not a damn one of those fucking bitch ass old people movies. You know what I'm saying? But when you sit down and you're kind of forced to experience shit, it opens up your eyes a little bit.
I can appreciate that a lot. I had to watch like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou in a class, and that is a strange movie to have to like studiously go into. So when did you like? Do you remember some of the first like music that you really, really got into? Not just like you had access to, but like you first really like those were like your shit, your first favorite musical acts, you could say.
Bell Biv DeVoe, MC Hammer, Michael Jackson.
You was into the up tempo dancing to go with the singing and the rapping, and you like that New Jack Bop.
Yeah. So like I remember even for Christmas one year I got a Michael Jackson CD. Whoever I just named off, I got probably all those like when CDs first came out. Like that was like my first CDs ever was Michael Jackson, Hammer, Velvet DeVoe, and a couple other ones. Like all my other shit obviously had been on tape, before that. But once I got my CD player, I think that it was on at that point. You gotta rewind shit with the fucking pencil no more. You know what I'm saying?
So on the question of tapes, were you one of those guys that was dubbing off the radio and making your own
100%. I still have those motherfucking tapes. I still got them. I got a box of tapes, and you could see where I'd push record and stop and like try to cut the person from talking over the next song and shit. But yeah, I still got actual tapes of recording shit off the radio because then I got my own fucking mixtape. I can ride around the car, once I turn 16, do whatever the fuck I want.
Yo, that's so fucking cool. But it's cool that you still have those. Like,
still have them. I actually recently bought a fucking like portable cassette player just so I can play some of the shit. I mean, fuck, I have I used to have like a mini recorder, like not like the one from Home Alone with the dude had a little Talk Boy too, but like just a regular little recorder, and we would rap on that shit. It took a regular size tape, a big tape, and we would rap on that shit. And we
I had one of those.
Yeah,
I had one of those. Those were awesome because it was like the regular D90 mixtapes, like that you could just pop them in there and record your own little, bootleg song.
And I had the little boombox where you could push record on it, and then like we'd be riding around in the car with two boomboxes. Like one of them hit record, and the other one would be playing a beat. And hella batteries and shit. Spending hella money on batteries. Riding around, we're like 16, riding around, playing a beat on one boombox and fucking rapping while we're driving and recording on the other one, and all that shit's going on a little tape.
Yo, that was definitely one of the most practical things I think you ended up doing, given what I see on your Rap Is a Joke YouTube channel across a decade. Like for real.
Well, it fucking worked. It fucking worked.
Nah, but that's so cool. And I love it because like I'm actually really inspired by what young people do because they figure out how to do things without money. And I feel like sometimes we let money get in the way of good decision making. So just hearing the innovation of how you're able to like practice or to create with just the tools that are around you and just what you did to gain that skill. It's really insightful, and I think it's beneficial for people to hear that kind of stuff, especially just to again have that perspective on the past, but also, that means you can just literally go on TikTok and bust a beat and start rapping today. No excuses, just get it, Like, but if you wanna if we just want to go back to when did you start actually getting to that point of rapping? If you're doing it in the car, like when did you start going, I'm a rap?
It's definitely in elementary school, but it was not. Again, it wasn't even on purpose because you don't know how to come up with like your own rap. You know what I mean? Like you would just rap somebody else's shit. Like you would rap fucking, whatever your favorite song was. You knew the lyrics, you'd rap it. And I remember this kid, it probably like 5th or 6th grade. This kid had one of them little mini recorder things, and he wanted to because I knew every word to fucking what was it? Like the first Dr. Dre Snoop song that came out. What the fuck was it called?
The Undercover 187 one?
No, I'm sorry. The next one, the one that like was like mainstream.
Oh shit.
Are you talking about Dre Day?
Oh,
yeah, Dre Day. Yeah, Dre Day. So everybody knew I knew all the words to that shit. So he was like, "Hey, I want to record you rapping on the words of this shit." And everybody was like, "Oh my god, this is the tightest thing ever. This fool's literally rapping the whole fucking song." And then everybody would like, "Oh, I want to hear that rap." You know what I'm saying? Like on the little thing. There's no beat or nothing. I just rap it. I probably knew the word better then than I do now. Yeah, just rapping the whole shit. And then somebody was like, "Yo, you should just rap something else." And I'm like, I got nothing else to rap.
There's always that one guy. That one guy, pushy motherfucker. But you know what? You gotta bless his heart, that pushy motherfucker. Because he always pushes all of us to be like, "You're right. I need my own raps now."
Yeah. Nah, but then you know what I started doing was still not understanding the concept of coming up with my own rap, was I would write down somebody else's rap. Like I only remember doing this with Outkast for some fucking reason with their first album, Southern Playlist of Cadillac Funky Music. I would write down their lyrics, and then I would rewrite their lyrics but with different words.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the same, like.
So you're already
Same.
like busting the Weird Al tactics off the jump.
Dude, I like not even knowing that I'm doing it.
Yeah, not even realizing it. It's crazy.
But I gotta like fast forward till later. A lot of the Rap is a Joke shit we did was parody. I still do the same thing. Like I'll copy paste their lyrics. I'll look at it. I'm like, all right, I need to make this shit about some fucking zoo animals or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And you know.
Honestly, I really appreciate you. Your just whole like approach to this is incredible. You're just like, this is interesting, and I just did this, and I got really good at this, and I kept doing this.
Appreciate it. Yep.
That's probably how most of us should fucking live life.
Yeah.
The only problem is then all of a sudden one day you think you're so damn dope that you don't got to do nothing but be dope, and then you realize like you got to do other shit. You can't just be dope. There's a lot of motherfuckers out there that is dope, and they don't. You know what?
A lot.
90% of the shit is your business. 10% of the shit is your talent. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, I do. I actually do feel that a lot. I feel like that was a great plug for that concept. So you start rapping because somebody is like, you'll make your own rap, and you're like young in elementary school becoming a parody rapper off the jump.
That's pretty much.
And then at one point, I guess that's it. You just start running that. Do you like do a lot? How do you like manifest this? Do you like record it a lot? Do you like, are you like 10 years old busting it out at parties? Like,
yeah, I'm still not doing it that often. I'm just kind of doing it like for myself. But then when I was in junior high, motherfuckers would be battling and shit. That was the first time I seen like dudes would always be battling at school, like circle of dudes battling. And I'm like listening to these motherfuckers, and I'm like, I rap way doper than these dudes. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not about to be the first white dude to jump up in the fucking cypher and start rapping. There's no damn way that was gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, even though
I respect it,
I respect it too.
But even though, like back then, you know, like we live in the Bay Area, so like the least amount of my friends were white. Like everybody had Chinese friends, Japanese friends, you know, Mexican, Puerto Rican, black, fucking Chinese, you name it, right? Like everything. Like it's like a fucking melting pot. So. But still, like, you're only rapping if you're black. It don't fucking matter if you're fucking none of that shit. So you gotta like sneak it in. You know what I'm saying? You gotta like tell one of your homies like, hey, yo, check this shit out. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Frank's dope. Yo, Frank White. You know, and then it kind of start getting like pumped up. You know, and then the next thing you know, you're fucking getting a lot of people mad at you because you're clowning the shit out of them. You know, on the blacktop. But yeah, had to ease my way in there.
I
Question, right? So this will be like a long one for you to answer. Pause, because do you know L Money at this point? And I think that it's valid to like explain who L Money is, right?
That's a great. You actually came in at like the perfect time, right? So me and L Money went to the same junior high school.
Okay.
And but I never seen him at school. I only seen him in detention. Only time I seen him when I was in detention, and he was he was the scariest, angriest motherfucker. And his brother was a year older. So when we're in 7th grade, his brother's in 8th grade. Like, and his brother was like weird on purpose. Like his brother, like you just don't fuck with his brother. But L Money was like, nah, I'm a hood dude. Like, and I'm gonna do hood shit all the time, and I don't give a fuck. But I only seen him in fucking detention, and you cannot talk in detention. And the fucking detention lady supposedly was E40's cousin or some shit, and she was like the most hood motherfucker there. And she would fuck you up like physically, like you cannot talk in detention. And like I seen her take 2 dudes' heads and smash them together and drag them off, like in junior high. Like she ended up getting fired. She ended up getting fired years later for some shit. Like she was like violent. But in detention, you're facing the stall and you're doing whatever the fuck you're doing. You can't talk until it's time to go pick up the garbage and shit. And like, you try to like find a way to sneak and crack jokes and fucking detention, but you can't do it. So this El Money, he's just like the angriest. You don't even want to talk to him when you're out picking up garbage during detention because like he might kill you. You know what I'm saying? But they come to turn out the motherfucker is goofier than me. Like he's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but he's just got to be like that, we got to just be angry and hard and shit because we're detention. Like, I'm in here for a reason because I don't give a fuck. I don't go to school. I'm a gangster, So, obviously, we make, all the everything you know about us. Like, clearly, he's fucking hilarious, right? But still, you don't want to fuck. You don't want to fuck with him at the same time because his fist is the size of your fucking head. So it's like we still never got to kick it. Like, we still never kicked it. I think like we had a couple of mutual friends who birthday parties we was at, and he was always doing some wild shit. And I'm just like, man, I can't kick it with this dude. He's too fucking crazy. He's too fucking crazy. Get me in trouble, man. He'll fucking get me in trouble. Little did I know I'd be making a fucking lifelong rap marriage with this motherfucker a few years later. You know what I'm saying? But it all makes sense.
Honestly, that's incredible. So you met him there. That's a great time to ask that question, Flacco. I don't know if you knew that or if it was an accident.
No, I did not.
Bro, it's fucked up. If you pop open the yearbook, because his last name Jackson and mine is Jones. Right, so if you pop open the yearbook, which we didn't notice this till years later either, is that his picture's right above mine in the fucking it's like boop boop. You know what I'm saying? Like that could have damn near been an album cover itself. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
It's just a bunch of Joneses and Jacksons, just like in one page. You know?
The album cover is just like two red circles, like one over your face, one over his, and shit.
Yep.
That's a fire album cover. That's incredible, dude. I like it when that happens, right? Where like you have this situation where you can just connect with somebody and 20 whatever years later, I'm guessing, is y'all doing the things. Like I checked your stuff. I'm like, no, this is like they're still active. They're still posting stuff. They just did a merch drop. You can go buy Rap is a Joke merch.
You see my shameless plug right here?
I actually didn't notice. I saw your hat though. Your hat I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, the merch game for Rap is a Joke is not a joke, and it is. I could tell you, absolutely, like Holden, little side, deviation real quick. Holden's like anti t-shirts with merch, right? He's just like, what do people want my t-shirt for? Why would people want my t-shirt?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. That Rap is a Joke t-shirt, he's not lying. Like everywhere I went in New York City with that shirt on, it was always an attention grabber everywhere. It didn't matter, like he said, what environment. I could be around like white guys at a bar, at an Irish bar, and like they're gonna love it. And then like I'm in the hood and like everybody in the hood loves it. Like it's just one of those things that I don't know, like Rap is a Joke.
It's so good.
It's right.
But it also like reminds me of being 20. Honestly, it reminds me of the way that satire manifested on t-shirts when I was 20. But it's also like hilarious. Like honestly, I saw it and I'm like, I don't normally want to buy people's merchandising, but one day I'm gonna buy this guy's merchandising because fuck, that's a cool ass shirt. But that's the thing. It's like I see that and I'm like, man, I'm gonna go do something different. It's like the world just doesn't need me to throw my logo on a shirt. If I can come up with something that's as fucking blessed as Rap is a Joke, that I think is that cool, then sure. But that's that cool. Like that's in a tier of like, it's catchy, it's ironic, it's everything.
Yeah, no, I didn't even mean it to like make it sound like you should. Like I meant to like this is what you mean in that scenario.
Yeah,
it's just like yo to like put something on a t-shirt. It should be something that's like really grabbing that people want to have and they want to add to their collection, and people want to add like Rap is a Joke on a shirt to their collection and walk around with that because it absolutely is like a conversation starter.
But then like you look into it and it's like, yo, they just flexing on everybody. And
there's been times where I'm wearing that shirt and motherfuckers would straight come at me like, what the fuck you mean? My cousin Rap.
I can see that happening too.
And I'm just like, man, and that's happened hell times. And I'm like, okay, let's have a conversation about it then. I'm like, and then what I'd hit him with is who's your favorite rapper? Oh, Tupac. Okay, well, so you don't like Nelly? You don't like whoever's out at the time. You don't like Ludacris? No, no, no. I listen to that old shit. I was like, okay, so then rap is a joke, motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Oh,
I'm not saying rap sucks. Like, obviously, I fucking rap, and sometimes I'd have to fucking prove it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Or like, especially if they are a rapper, or they'd be like, "Nah, you want to buy my CD?" And I'm like, "You know what? I'll trade you one, or let's spit some bars or something." But motherfucker, don't they're not even on that whole hype. But it's like that's the reality. It's like the fuck, man. Like the same way you talk about like I don't like my parents' music when I'm a kid, but it's like you could do rock as a joke at the same on the same token.
Everything can be is a joke.
yeah, but then it's also like, my God, you flex with your skill, right? Like, and the fact that like just on like a more analytical front, I don't actually think a lot of stuff is funny. I thought your shit's on point with its funniness. Like you
Yeah,
have a grasp for like satire where you don't need to put a disclaimer, and that's like mad rare. Maybe you need a disclaimer in this era, but in general, like, like, whew, your shit was spot on, and I'm like, that made it really funny for me. Like that shit.
when you guys did like a solid few years there, where like I remember, wasn't it around the time when like uh Mercy came out? Like y'all really snapping on
Oh
everything.
yeah, yeah, that shit
Yeah,
was crazy. That whole
and
album was crazy.
that album, yeah, it was like you guys hit a zone, a whole nother like whole nother
Right.
atmosphere with what y'all were
I
doing. And it like he's right, like it is like spoof, but it's when anything is done very well, it
I mean,
transcends,
I
you
was
know.
just thinking of the
Yeah.
Smackavelli song. That's like a flex. Like you dropped a factual flex. So I'm listening to this while I'm talking and chatting with Dutch Vega, right? And then he's like, "Who's the first guy from the West Coast that came to smack whatever?" Ask this, ask Dutch Vega, ask Poison Pan. I'm like, wait a second, I can legitimately do this, which was a great moment in my life. But that whole song was a flex. You're dancing. That shit is pristine. But you're basically
Oh,
going
you're talking about
the
the that
I
new
don't know.
song that the
Yeah,
one where I'm
rap
rapping.
battle rap is a
That rap is a
joke.
joke. Yeah, yeah,
That's the
yeah.
one. Yeah, okay, that's it. Sorry, I don't know the
I'm
name
glad you heard
sometimes.
that. That's a good song. I'm glad you showed him that song.
He didn't show me that. I just found it.
No, he
Oh,
came
dope.
across it on his own.
Oh shit, I'm glad you found that song because
You
yeah,
know, I
that's a
don't
good that's a good little story right there.
I mean, I did. I
I've been
choose.
very like
I mean, I'm not gonna come talk to you without like putting some effort in. I
Yeah,
don't
no, I
know.
yeah,
appreciate that. I'm
and
glad you
the
found
other
that one.
thing is, right, like he wasn't, he didn't, before we started doing what we were doing, he didn't ever watch no battle rap, right?
Nah,
So like, instead of doing like the
actually,
typical like thing where like it's like, oh my god, now I gotta make you sit through all this shit. I'm
Right.
just like, I don't do none of that. I'm just like, bro, like you're gonna come across shit on your own. Like now he like downloaded the URL app, and he paid, for the month, like, and that's natural because he's gotten into it on his own. Like it's not like me force feeding him, and
hmm.
and even like with each of the interviews, like I might give him like a link or two, like a particular thing or two, where I'm just like, yo, did you check out his battle with El Money against Andy Milanakis
Of course.
and
Oh my
Simon,
god.
and he's like, yeah,
I had like,
absolutely.
yo, the
But
second, like, it's
And
like,
and
that's it.
that was a parody battle.
Yeah,
I
no, I
had
know.
I
It was
had to think
amazing.
about that for a second, because like at first I was confused by the ending of this battle where your man jumps Dirt Nasty, and I was like, is that real? Because I don't know shit. I was one of the first things I clicked on. I typed in your name and I see fucking Andy and Dirt. I woke up to Dirt Nasty's 1980 as an alarm clock for a year. My girlfriend fucking hates Dirt Nasty on some. That song made her wake up every day for a year.
Wow, that's
But
fucking incredible. I'm gonna tell him that.
I
That's
hope you
amazing.
do, because like
That's
that
fucking
that is
great,
one of my
dude.
favorite songs. I don't know why. It is preposterous, but it is so amazing. Everything, the music video is so good. The way he clowns on backpack. Anyway,
Yeah.
but every morning, just fucking like that fucking, what's his name, Jack whatever's fucking bar, and then I gotta go check every morning for like a year. It was beautiful for me. It was
Best.
just an easy
Bon
song.
Bon 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 is in the Bon Bon, which is Holden's wife is in the comments like, I can't stand it now.
Oh my god.
It's a real story. I fucking love. Yo, I'm really into all of them. So when I saw you, like you knew them, I was like, oh my god, he knows those dudes. Like I fucks with I like the like the We Are Farmers song and all that. Like the whole vibe with Riff Raff and I'm forgetting the Three Amigos or whatever. Like I got really into that for a second. And
Four Loco or Three Loco.
That's it.
Three Loco. There we go.
I could not remember the name. So, I mean, all of that was like, wow. And then I'm seeing you're with them and you're battling them and you're blesser in terms of the rhyming than them. Your fucking style, dude. I don't know what to call it, but all of what you do with the battle raps is amazing. Like, it's just...
I got to do this little shameless plug one time because I never thought about it like this. And when I tell people that this happened, they're like, wow, that's crazy. Tech Nine told me that I was the Hunter S. Thompson of rap one time.
Wow.
And I was like, damn. I was like,
that's pretty big.
Like, that's the craziest shit. And I think he had just watched my O'Shea battle too, like right before he said that.
That was another thing that I made sure to plug him.
Grab the fucking beer and like all of that shit.
And I'm like, yo, bro, some people might not take that as a compliment, but that's the dopest shit anybody's ever said to me. Like, straight up, like that's a good way to explain it because I can't explain it. It's just what I'm doing. But like when you hear somebody else say, you know, you sound like this or you sound like that, it gives me more like a different perspective on like how I'm perceived. You know?
Yeah, no, you can't. It's so hard for us like to see ourselves, you know?
Yeah.
Like you can't ever see yourself. You can't ever really hear yourself. Like you can, but you're still like, it's you. So it's like, you're not hearing what other people hear, you know, and you're not perceiving yourself the way that other people perceive you. So it's always really interesting when somebody who's like knowledgeable or just kind of like I said with Holden about like that review, like intricate, you know?
Yo, but that's
just when you spend the time to really think about what it is that you're telling someone about it, like that's when you know. And you're like, yo,
honestly, you're so interesting, Frank. You're fucking fascinating.
Appreciate it,
so let's go back to you're in high school and you link up with the L guy through detention, but you're not like friends because you're scary, but then you end up becoming friends. But so there's a couple of years in between there. You do theater, if I'm not mistaken, at this point, and you bust in freestyles and you're risking fights or whatever by clowning on people via battle rap is what I understand the situation of your high school at this point. Is that
pretty much, yeah. And in high school, you know, by that time everybody's a rapper, right? Like there's so many people rapping, and in the 90s everybody was fucking rapping. I mean, it didn't matter, like you always knew somebody who was rapping or something, but you got to be the best, you know what I'm saying? And back then you had to battle out in public and at house parties, and like you had to do that shit in high school. And it's like there's battles that you don't win, you know what I'm saying? You gonna meet that one dude from that one city and he's just got his whole clique with him and he just fucking smashed through you. So then you got to be humbled again, back to where, damn, I was only dope around my homies. You know what I'm saying? Now I got to go be dope over there. So then I'm like, all right, who won it then? Bring me to their high school. You know what I'm saying? Let's go over to that high school and see what's up with these dudes. So it was a lot of after school extracurricular, just battling motherfuckers. And that's the only way you get your fucking name out. You know what I'm saying? With no internet yet. I couldn't press no CDs. I wouldn't have no studio. I'm still making tapes and recording off the tape and playing that in the car and shit. So it's just like, man, I just need to rap. You know what I'm saying? Like all the time. Like who won it?
Yeah, it's so different than my life.
Well, all high school was like that.
So basically what happens after high school then?
So I'm already thinking at this point, like, I'm the best rapper in the world. I'm never gonna have to get a job or go to school or nothing. You know like somebody gonna sign me. You know what I'm saying? So
this is definitely gonna happen.
Like, didn't go to college, obviously, and just was still doing hood shit, just rapping, just around motherfuckers, and you know, I tried to go to the community college for a little bit, but it was like I was like I could just leave and not get in trouble. Like I'm just gonna fucking leave and go smoke and rap and be a fucking jackass. You know what I mean? But you know, you meet somebody who, oh, so and so got a little studio, or you know, they got this little setup at the house, and you go through and you can record some shit. you know, this is maybe 99, 2000 something, and that's like mind blowing. Then you're really just like, damn, I made it. You know what I mean? You're like, fucking, I'm making music like with a microphone.
I remember.
Like, you know, it's like not in a, with a boombox and some tapes and shit, but you don't have the quality. You're still recording. The studio equipment still got a tape, and you got to play the tape back. You know, you got to like still get a tape of it, and it's gonna sound like shit because there's no way to like, you know, like master it or mix it or nothing. But it was fun as hell to do shit, and I had recorded a few songs at a real studio, and I paid like saved up some money and went to this dude had a real studio. It was my homie's dad who had a studio in San Jose, and we made like this whole thing out of it. Like we went down there like 10 deep, like we're going to a real studio like for the first time, and recorded a couple songs. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't even like a real studio though. Still, you know what I'm saying? It was like the same shit I got in my house right now, but he had it in a fucking, you know, with a fucking commercial warehouse or whatever. And had a couple songs, and I had them on CD. Now I got shit on a CD somehow, and it's the dopest shit ever because I can make copies of the shit, like burn hella copies and pass it out. And El Bunny was at a fucking house party, and I still ain't seen him, but apparently he had been rapping the whole time too. But like he was just doing like extra hood shit, where like I didn't even see, like he wasn't even on my fucking radar, and we're in the same hood the whole time. But he went to a house party, and him and his homeboy stole a car. And they're putting all the burned CDs in the CD player, right? And they're just throwing them out the window, like get the shit, whatever. It's fucking Alanis Morris, fucking, you know, just throwing all the shit out the window. And they put this one in, and it's just this shitty ass recording of some fucking dude rapping about Hayward. And he's like, "Yo, what the fuck is this?" Then he like had to return the car back to find out, like, hey, who's on the CD? Like, oh, that's fucking Frank. That's Frank. And he's like, fucking Frank, like the same Frank. You know what I'm saying? Like Frank Jones.
Like
I was still Frank Jones.
I used to be in detention with and shit.
I wasn't Frank Stacks yet for a minute, like till way later. Yeah. And he's like, what the fuck? So then he like found out where I was or some shit, and like came through, and was like, it was rap. You know what I mean? And we was all fucking just rapping, and then he was way doper than everybody else, but he didn't like show nobody ever. He wasn't like out, like when he was out doing hood shit, he was just doing hood shit. He was not like, hey, listen to my raps like I was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like with the backpack of raps, like, hey, check me out. And he would just all his shit was in his head, memorized or whatever, and he would just violently spit that shit just on some fucking murder rap, and it was crazy. Like it was crazy. Especially back then. Like, I mean, it was like just the level of fucking, he had like an industry voice already, you know what I'm saying? Like his voice was like primed for the microphone, and he rapped hella fast, and it was just dope. It was dope as fuck. So we were like, all right, we got to figure this shit out. Like, it took a while before we finally could, you know, build up our own little studio spot and record. But yeah, that's how we got reconnected, was because he stole a fucking car, and my shitty ass burnt CD was in that motherfucker.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's like some shit that I think was straight up in Entourage.
He hasn't forgiven me because I was so drunk. I told the fucking story at his wedding, and he's like, "Dude, my fucking grandparents are here. What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I was so drunk, and my wife was like, "Why are you fucking talking all this shit?" Like, and I'm like, "Man, I didn't even think about it. Like, I know everybody in the room, so I was too comfortable." You know what I'm saying? At that point, like, I'm cool with this whole family shit. So I'm telling this whole story, and he's like, "Man, you had to tell that story." I was like, "Dude, that's probably the safest one out of all the stories we got." You know what I'm saying? Like, shit. I'm just gonna go up there and make nothing up.
You were like, "What do you mean? This is our most heartfelt story." What? Oh shit!
I just wasn't expecting that, but it was incredible. Your storytelling is pretty incredible. So y'all link up, and then how would you guys just start making music, or like tell us a bit more about like the transition into this phase of life?
Oh man, you make me go back. So that's like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So
good stuff.
I think in like 2004, I made a bunch of money. I was hella young too. I was doing mortgages for this company called AmeriQuest. I was basically a telemarketer. and they paid the biggest motherfucking commissions, bro. Like, so 21 years old, 22 years old, whatever it was, like, I'm getting paychecks I never even thought I was gonna see ever. So I bought a whole studio. I bought a booth. I bought all the Pro Tools shit. I bought a fucking $2,000 Apple computer. I was just like, what else am I gonna spend all this money? I don't need to save for my future. I'm a rapper. You know what I mean? Like the fuck. And my dad let me build a little spot in his garage. Like he had like a side door to his garage with like a, it was just like a little storage room or something, like a closet almost outside. So like I could just be out there all night, and they weren't even tripping. Or like I could come and go, or anybody that had the key could come go to the studio. It's actually pretty dope that they like let people just ride up to their house and shit, fucking hop up in the studio. But built a little booth. Honestly didn't use it for that long because I didn't know how to use the shit, man. Like we kind of figured it out, but we'd always have to have some nerd friend come over and fucking tweak the Pro Tools and show us how to get it recorded, and then it'd work for a minute, and then we'd fuck something up, and then I'll know Dutch, if you remember Kodiak.
This sounds familiar.
He was a battle rapper back in the day. Like he passed away in at the end of 2014, but I was always out freestyling with him. Like I'd go to his house just to smoke and record freestyles on little tapes and shit, like on his little mini recorder. It was like a digital mini recorder, and then he would put them on CD for us and shit like that. But he had gone to high school with this dude named Chris Paxton, and he's telling me, I'm like, he's at my house, me and Kodiak at my house trying to record some shit, and he's like, you should just call Paxton. And I'm like, who's Paxton? He's like, oh man, he's this dude I went to high school with. He's got a real studio. Well, all right, whatever. So I go and he takes me to Oakland to like just like literally in the fucking the east. Like you don't want to be in that part of Oakland like at all. It just happens to be where there's this cheap ass old warehouse with a bunch of rehearsal rooms and a big ass studio. And there's this kid in there, bro. He's like 20 years old, but he's got a band, and his whole band paid money to rent the space. And he had gone to Expressions College, which is like a studio engineer school. And
I remember Expressions.
And he was like, yo, I'm gonna start recording with this dude. You should meet him. So we go meet him and shit. And he didn't have all the shit yet, but he had enough to where he could record you. You could be in the other room in the booth, hit record, Pro Tools, all the shit. So I just took all of my gear and brought it to his spot, and then we kind of combined, because he was also learning how to record. So me and El Money had all these fucking songs, bro, like a million songs ready to go. And he was like, I'll just record all of them for free. And because he was taking it like, I'm learning how to record you motherfuckers too, because that was what his job. He's trying to get a job. He's trying to basically build up a recording studio. And that's almost like 20 years ago. And that studio's still running so well today that he don't even got to fucking be there. He's got people running it for him and shit. And he's out in LA making music and doing all this dope shit that I live vicariously through him. So Chris Paxton Nexus Audio Studios in Oakland is where we did all that shit. So we're just banging out songs back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah, but there's something interesting that's also there. You brought something to the table beyond just music. You had gear, right? Like that's a part of the equation where a lot of other people's stories go, and the guy wasn't as interested in me after, because you didn't just come like that. You're like, yo, I got this. It just shows that even it isn't necessarily that you need to have gear, but that you have something value that you bring to the table beyond. You're serious to that level, like a display of that. I just think that's an interesting part too that should be highlighted.
Well, bro, it literally was, back then. I mean, I bought a $2,000 keyboard, a $3,000 Neumann microphone, and like, what better place to let that shit sit than in a real fucking studio? You know what I mean? And I'm recording there for free, so it was definitely a very synergistic kind of relationship. Synergistic. Yeah, it's like a relationship that we have where we're both learning. Like I'm learning how to record, he's learning how to record, like the right way. This microphone this is his. He gave me this shit so I could do my little home setup. But so it was a definitely learning process. That studio has grown like tremendously over the years. Everybody knows about that spot out here, and we were like the first motherfuckers to ever record there. Everybody's been there, bro. Like you name them, they've recorded in that studio now.
Wow, that's like really cool. Like
that's super dope.
Sometimes people say stuff, and I just like realize it's like a historical, like big thing for music that I don't know a lot about.
Like
but
you got to think about it. It's a
like,
studio in the Bay, right? So like I'm pretty sure that like if we start listing off Bay Area artists, like Frank's gonna be like, yeah, he recorded there too. Yeah. Like Raphael Sadiq.
Yep.
Of course. So of course Raphael Sadiq would have recorded there. Really 2020 might have broke up already by then. So
no, but you know what though? They did. One of them did go. I remember he hit me up like, "Yo, Tony's here," and I'm like, "Which one?" And he's like, "Tony."
Maybe Dwayne Wiggins. You know.
Tony's parents actually used to live around the corner from me when I lived back in Hayward. So that was definitely another. I was always slapping some Tony too, but
yeah.
I mean like.
But then I'm pretty sure we keep on going down the litany of Bay Area artists that we can name.
In the past 20 years, I mean, Too Short, Mr. Fab, AP9, I mean, Spice One. I did a 12-hour studio session with Shock G, which was just the most incredible experience ever.
Rest in peace.
You know, and just like the whole vibe of that spot, like it's something about it. You know what I mean? Like it's like an epicenter of all types of music, and it's not just rap. It's not just a rap studio. Like he said, he's in a band. They do a lot of reggae shit. Like full bands come there, like jazz bands and shit, record there, and he's got that whole setup. So everybody knows about that spot for sure.
And you're the first to go there.
Yeah.
And
was the first.
But not just that. Yeah. You helped.
Kodiak was the first. That's
fair. You're the first to come in and be here on this show telling. You're the second. Fine. The second still like the first. You're the first, and you brought gear, so you helped infrastructurally build up the place.
I thought you said Shock G. My fault.
I did.
Okay. When you said Shock G, I said rest in peace. The homie was
Humpty.
Yeah. Chuck D. He said Chuck D isn't dead. I think he might have misheard.
No, Humpty Hump. Yep.
Yeah.
Yo, that's a pretty cool list. So you're there and you guys bang out all of your songs, and then what do you do after you learn how to record and have a bunch of songs?
Well, first of all, none of the shit we recorded was funny at all. It was all like the most hood shit we could possibly record, because that was what rap still was. Like we hadn't kind of crossed that line yet. You know, we hadn't figured it out that even though when we're out the studio, we're fucking hilarious. You know what I mean? Like we hadn't even crossed our mind to like do no like comedy shit. So. But we're doing shows, like we're doing hella shows, and we were doing shows when when Mr. Fab was coming out, and like Turf Talk, like a lot of these Bay dudes were really starting to pop a little bit. We were doing shows with them, like, you know, sometimes two days a week, and we had a couple songs that were well known in the club with all of these other dudes. That kind of, it's weird, man. It's like, you know how like motherfuckers like steal shit from you and like. You know, I like that was dope. I'm gonna take that idea and run with it, type of thing. Like, you know how people like do that shit, but we had a lot of shit. Like, I feel like we accidentally did influence a lot of, like the whole fucking hyphy movement, like and a whole bunch of shit. Like, from the hyphy movement to fucking later on Lonely Island and all kind of bullshit that we influenced because motherfuckers were like seeing what we were doing and kind of.
I was like an hour ago, which was like maybe like at the beginning. 10 minutes in, another 30 minutes in, like I'm like, Little Dicky copied all of this, you know, like, so there's a whole bunch of people that we can name.
Yeah, and it was just back then.
No, but I hear what you're saying with the clubs though, because it would have been a lot of people that were like specifically dancing and seeing the legitimacy given with the clubs. I talked to some DJ people on how that whole side was going, and that would have meant like YouTube's not really a thing yet, so that's the only place that people are going to be seeing what's lit happening. So if you're getting like known club spins, that is a legit claim to make in terms of influencing all of that shit in the local. I hear what you're saying there. That's like big, because that was a big movement. Yeah, I mean, you can't ever prove anything, but you can definitely say that you were there and it happened, and then things, you know, happen.
I think that like when it was also like almost like a normal thing where it's like everybody wants to go perform at the club and shit. Like there was just a lot of places that you could perform, and you know there was always a certain headliner. Like back then there was just a lot of promoting going on out here. I mean obviously I'm kind of probably out of the scene a little bit, but in terms of like rappers doing live performances like at all these smaller clubs out here, it don't really happen anymore because it's usually a fight or some other shit that's going on. And back then, but it was like so much like the norm to where like, okay, where are we performing at this weekend? Where are we performing at this weekend? Like, do we got to sell tickets for the show? Like, we need to get, you know, hella people to come um, or whatever it is. But that's still, you know what I'm saying? That's still like, we still weren't even really scratched the surface on like our content, our musical content yet. You know what I'm saying? We're still working with that first kind of album that we recorded with Chris the first time. So we were just out pushing that for a minute.
And then what changed?
I think we started. Well, me personally, I started getting like just angry with the way that like everybody was fucking rapping. Everybody was like, oh, they're so dope and all this shit. But like, you know, at the same time, I'm no better than they are because we're all doing the shit in the same spot. You know what I mean? Like, but these motherfuckers were just so whack, bro. And like, I can't even be around you. Like, you don't like, I can't. But they got hella money from somebody put money into their marketing, or they got a little mini tour bus thing with their logo painted on the side, but they're just so fucking ass that I can't even like. And I'm a hater, bro. Rappers are fucking haters. Like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially back then, I don't fucking love nobody.
Yeah, now
like,
back then we're talking about prime time, like that era. We're definitely talking about like 2000 to 2010, right? Somewhere in there.
This is back even. I'm saying like 2004, 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like between 2000 and 2010, like in that 10-year period, like that is prominent, like time for like that to be the feeling of like, yo, too many people are doing this. You're not all good at it. Like, you're fucking congesting this shit up, and like this is trash. This is wild annoying, like incredibly annoying. I think that a lot of us, from back then, like we had like the most unfortunate era of trying to get on, you know.
I think that also I'm trying to like kind of fill in the gaps before I get to what, like, I kind of want to go off of that what you were saying, but I think that you know, like earlier you say when somebody critiques your shit, they'll tell you, oh, it's dope, right? And nobody wants to actually critique nobody's shit or tell them what they don't like with it. They're either going to say you fucking suck or it's fucking dope. You know, there's not going to be any kind of intricate critiquing. But to me, everybody just fucking sucked. So I didn't want nothing to fucking do with you. But at the same time, that kind of made me reflect, like, we got to go back to our drawing board and like really step it up so motherfuckers recognize, like, damn, you guys are really way doper than us. Whether it's the quality of the recordings or the content or fucking flyers or whatever the fuck it is, like, we need to get to where we're supposed to be in terms of, like, you know, how we feel about ourselves and how we think how we're doper than all these other motherfuckers. We still, at that point, we still ain't making no funny shit because we're fucking so angry. We're just like, my shit's gonna be more hood than your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it took a minute to get to that point.
That's how it was back then, though.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
So, it wasn't like it. It just wasn't as like welcoming for diversity as like maybe like nowadays is.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Even though there was a lot of diversity, so and we came from really diverse.
I mean, I just as like I was still in high school then, so I was already just being along with you as the fan hater, you know, like just all of it too. I mean, all angles of it. But so I really appreciate what you're saying because I do remember 2004 and all that. But what made you elevate to that point of comedy? Like, when did you like really get to that point where you're like, this angry hood shit isn't it? What was the pivotal moment?
I'm trying. There was two moments, but I don't remember which one came first. But I remember I used to get a bunch of beats from I don't know if you guys remember this back in the day. Like, there were certain websites that if you were a DJ, like a big name DJ, you could get a login to these websites and get all these instrumentals that everybody else can't get.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I had got that one of the, if I remember who the DJ's name, it was like a big name DJ, but I had his fucking login somehow from another DJ dude that I knew. And he was like, you know, just don't go crazy on downloading all those beats. I downloaded every motherfucking beat that was on that shit. And I'd just be driving in my car, listening, rapping the beats, and hella high, and fucking just like freestyling and making shit up. And I fucking made up this shit. It was like this. It was like a Spanish guitar, like some shit. Like I forget. I want to say it was like a Fergie song or something, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know whose song it was. I just had the beat, and I started saying, you know, chupa mi verga, chupa mi pito, chupa mi huevos on the fucking hook of it. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna go record this shit, just see what anybody says about it. And just because I just was kind of feeling it. And went to the studio. I was like, hey, let's do the song. It was like, okay, whatever. Let's just fucking we're fucking cracking up because like first of all, we can't believe we're making this fucking
actually recording the silliness, yeah.
And like we're recording the shit, and I just wrote my verse hella quick. And you guys have to, I don't know if you probably heard the song before, Dutch, but like I'm writing my shit and I don't even show it to L Money, right? My verse. And I'm like, I'm gonna just go over there and he can see me through the glass, right? You know, I'm like, just hit record and I'm gonna start doing my shit. And I'm rapping my shit. And I'm like, all right, run it back, let me do that again. And I look and he ain't even in there. And I'm like, the fuck did he go? And I stand up and I look, and this motherfucker on the ground dying laughing. Like, he's like, yo, I didn't know you were gonna do none of that shit. Like, he's like, what the fuck? I'm like, whatever the fuck. Like, I'm saying the most wild shit ever, right? Like, my whole shit is just this Mino Chico Padre o Rico Suave. I only eat pico de gallo on Cinco de Mayo, Ricky Tiki Tabe. You know? And like, and he's just on the ground, like tears coming out of his eyes. Like, he's just fucking dying, crying. And so anyways, we record that song, and then we record a couple other goofy songs. But then really what the turning point was we were at a fucking like a hip hop show, like an event that we were supposed to perform at. And when we performed back then, Chris Paxton, my engineer, he was our drummer, and we had a keyboard player that played 2 keyboards. So we had like a live band with drums and keyboards to all of our shit. And we go to these shows and we just fucking blow it out the water. But we're at these shows, you know what I'm saying? We're wearing like just regular shit, and every other motherfucking rapper there, everybody in the building was a rapper. It was like hundreds of motherfuckers. Everybody's a rapper. Just hyphy. Just everybody's just dressed up hyphy, gold shoes, glitter jackets, you know, the big ass fucking glasses, and just all the wild shit going on. It looked like a bunch of rainbows with backpacks and all this shit. And I said, motherfuckers, somebody was outside and he was talking shit. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here with your rap costume, man. And my keyboard player looks at me and he's like, rap costume? We're making the song tonight. And I'm just like, yo. So anyways, we left out that fucking club and we made the song Rap Costume, which was like huge. Like back then everybody fucking downloaded it or had it or whatever, like Rap Costume. And it was like that was like the turning point to where we're like, all right, let's just fucking make fun of all these rappers, dude. Like, let's just fucking make fun of all of them. And then all of a sudden we got like 10 songs where we're just talking shit and being hella weird. And El Money called me, left me a voicemail. El Money called me and left me a voicemail one time, and he's like, yo, we're gonna make it a whole album and we're gonna call it Rap is a Joke. And I wish I saved that fucking voicemail. But that was that. Then it was like that kind of
make that an NFT.
We just kind of transcended to the next, like, okay, now what are we really gonna do? You know, like, let's get crazy.
All right. So then you put out this album, you create this project, and I guess what happens after?
So it takes us a while to actually put it out, because when we wanted to start working on it, we were already doing a full album with the band. Like we kind of created a group that was called East Bay Sick. And
I remember that.
And it was me, El Money, you know, Jala on the keyboards, and Chris was drumming. So we're still kind of trying to figure out how to do this album, and we're trying to make this album like the highest quality mainstream studio, just high end engineering skills as possible. And you know, we're using live instruments, and we got singers coming in, and we got guitars and like all kind of crazy shit. Like, we're going crazy with this album. So we put a lot of time into that, but in the background, we're kind of doing this Rap as a Joke shit. So it kind of was on the back burner. even though we had all these songs, like shit, we had like 20 something songs that were just comedy, but we were really focused on pushing this, which we didn't really know what the fuck we were, like a band, like a rap band, but it was like corny. Our live performances were off the fucking hook. But in terms of it being like a 4-person like group where, I mean, it wasn't like, I feel like a lot of people were doing that shit at the time, where a lot of like hip hop dudes were doing like live bands and shit. But our show was wild. Like our because Chris is literally one of the best drummers in the world, and Jala been playing keyboards since he was 3 years old. Like the motherfucker was he could play 3 keyboards at once, like crazy, and he could sing and all this other shit. So it was just hard to get 4 people to all like put everything into that one goal. You know what I mean? Where like Chris is running the studio, he's in 4 bands. Jala's a keyboard player making beats, but he's in 4 bands. But me and El Money are like, yo, like all we got is this. So it was kind of hard to like juggle all of that shit for all of us at one time while we're running the studio and we're doing everything else. So we finally get that album out, and it just didn't get like very well received, I guess. And it was kind of like, it kind of fucking sucked for us because we put like everything into that shit, like 24 hours a day. Like literally we would have band fucking rehearsal to where we would go do these songs live. Like the live instruments got to match the fucking shit. Like everybody, I got to have my shit down. He got to have his shit down. We're getting in like fights and shit when we're doing rehearsals because we're doing shows every weekend. And it just wasn't well received. It was kind of a weird album. You know what I'm saying? It was like kind of like a Frankenstein's monster of an album to where we spent so much time on each individual song, but the album just didn't really like flow. Like I guess for a lot of people, some people they really liked it, but it was just disappointing. Bless you. It was just disappointing for us to put so much time into something, and then it just kind of flop, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But then Rap is a Joke, like minimal effort, like in and out, one take, using a lot of mixtape beats, barely putting any extra energy into it. Very simple, made the album cover on fucking Microsoft Paint. You know what I'm saying? Like, put that shit out, and just crazy, like just how well received it was. Like, and around the same time was when I did my first grind time battle for the Grind Time West Coast, when I battled S-Rock, and I had the Rap as a Joke shirt. That was like my first Rap as a Joke shirt in 2008. And I'm giving out CDs. I mean, I'm giving out CDs. We sold more CDs and had more downloads of fucking Rap as a Joke, that first CD, to this day than anything else ever, because we were out pushing it hard because people wanted it. People were coming up to me out of nowhere and quoting fucking bars from the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit was crazy because I put so much, like a year and a half into this other album that nobody gave a fuck about. And then the Rap as a Joke shit was already done. All we did was start a cover on it, and here it goes.
Is that the energy just wasn't right on the other thing, Yeah. The energy just wasn't there. And that's like that sometimes translates like in the music in a way that like people don't realize, and you guys were probably just having such a good time fucking around, doing it one take Willie, like whatever, just having a good time. That became fun, and you could probably tell on the records that you were having a good time. I mean, I know I could tell, like it was good,
also like it's different, like yo, it's just a different vibe than what you like, even conceptually, like the idea that rap is inherently a joke just because like it's become the parent music or whatever. I mean, even in 2000 whatever, or just the idea of looking around a room full. I look at hyphy fashion and like it. I don't know. I don't know that I would wear it. Like I get it, but like it's so foreign to me as a concept that like I could see how you'd look at a sea full of people and be like, this is a rap costume.
But the people would see our live show and they expect the CD to sound like that, and it don't. You know what I'm saying? The live show is so dope. Let me get a CD. Get the CD. Like, what the fuck? Like you ain't rocking and dancing the same way that you are to the fucking live shit, and it just didn't exist. They couldn't, like, those two things couldn't coexist together. We could just take any song. We could take any song that we ever made and create a live version of it that was wild as fuck. When you go back to the regular song, it's not what you think it was. And we kept doing that with the Rap as a Joke shit because we weren't going to stop doing shows because that was the most fun part. You know what I mean? We used to do 2-hour-long sets at fucking Burning Man, like on the main stage with our whole band and shit. And it would be at the point where some random person in the crowd would be like, "Hey, do this song." I don't even know. We don't know who the fuck they are. We're a fucking Burning Man. You know what I mean? And we would be like, "Hey, we never did that song before live. You want to do it? Fuck it." You know what I'm saying? But we all know the shit. So
You went to Burning. What's it like to be at Burning Man? Also,
everybody got to go once, man. Everybody got to go once. It is the weirdest, and you know, whether drugs are your thing or drugs aren't your thing. I mean, you're in the desert for, you know, a week in the heat, and probably sleeping most of the day, partying all night. You're riding a bike. For us, I think the Burning Man experience was a little bit different because we were on a show schedule, you know. And then when the shows was over, then we'd go party and wander out into the desert and just do wild shit, wearing weird ass fucking clothes and shit. But it's pretty crazy. Like the vibe there is fucking wild. Like, you know what I mean? You're literally in the middle of the fucking desert. But I don't think I ever would have gone to Burning Man if it wasn't to perform. Like, people would ask me before, "You want to go Burning Man?" I'm like, no, I ain't trying to see a bunch of naked dudes walking around and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm no, thank you. But it's like, you want to perform at Burning Man in front of a bunch of people who are on drugs? Hell yes. It's the best vibe on the planet. It's
yeah,
like,
no, I'd rather that. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. Like, there's just a bunch of people on fucking LSD and shrooms and mollies, like on couches watching you perform your fucking heart out. And they're just like melting. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like the dopest shit ever for them. And so it's the dopest shit ever for us. We had naked bitches dancing on stage and fucking all kind of crazy shit. Dudes were doing graffiti of us while we were performing. Like, Burning Man was wild, but I wouldn't go back. We went twice to do the shows, but even the second year was kind of like, all right, like, I can only survive so much of this, you know, week in the desert shit with no shower. You know what I mean?
oh fuck that. No
Yeah,
shower
I can't survive that at all. Like, you're like, you got to do it. I'm like, I got to do it in and out. I got to do it in one night. I can't stay out in the desert for that long.
No,
Crazy.
I'm in. Bonnie's not in, but I'm in.
The homies on the Zoom was telling me about, like, planning on going camping up in, like, upstate New York, you know, in the woods and shit. And they was like talking about it, and I was like, yo, that sounds really good, except for like one thing. It's like, I hate the outside. I hate the outdoors. Like, if it's the city and we're in the streets to like whatever, like, I'm down. But like being in the woods or being like somewhere like, you know, like the desert, it's just like, oh, that sounds super unappetizing.
Bro, it is. And it's funny because I was dating this girl for a while, and her and all her friends wanted to go to Burning Man. She's like, every year, she's like, come on, let's go to Burning Man. I'm like, no, fuck that. I ain't going to fucking Burning Man. I'm not going to do it. And then we break up, and then I went to Burning Man. Right? Like, just by fucking chance. Like, but because Chris was like, hey, we got an opportunity to perform at Burning Man. And of course, she hit me up like, oh, now you want to go to Burning Man? I'll be broken. Now you're going to go to Burning Man. Like, yeah, bitch. Come see me perform. Come see me live.
That is hilarious. So there are a few videos of the experiences at Burning Man on Rap Is a Joke's YouTube channel.
Yes, there is. There's several.
You have this 18+ disclaimer on, and you got past all of YouTube's censorship, and I was just bamboozled that I was seeing this content in 2021, and I was pretty impressed that this existed. I was like, this is the weird. It's like, you know those memes where like people are doing goofy rave dancing? It was like that, but nakeder.
Yeah.
And I was
it was wild, bro. It was wild, and the vibe was crazy. But like I said, I won't go back. But everybody got to go once. You can go for a couple days. You know, you go for 1 or 2 days. But we were there for the whole week, and by the time you leave, you got to stop in Reno, get a fresh shower. You know, have a drink, get a buffet or something.
No, I would love to go, but like it's pretty far from Montreal, so it's a big trip. So
I've met people there from all over the world, bro. There's people from Germany and England and shit. It's crazy.
I met a few people who've done it, but I mean, it looks so cool. It just all of it. Like, I just want to go to the desert.
It looks cool. It looks super cool. It's just, I don't know.
We shot a music video, so you're not allowed to record at Burning Man. Like when you go in there, you have to have like a press badge or some shit. Like if you want to walk around with a camera, because it's a bunch of naked people, so they don't want you recording them and shit. You know what I mean? And not everybody's naked, but there is a lot of motherfuckers that just walk around naked. But so you can't just be out recording shit. So somehow I was able to, because we were performing, get like this tag on my cameras that allowed us to record. So the second year that we went there, we decided to shoot a music video. Now the video cameras we had were still tapes, right? Video tape. No digital shit. We had digital cameras just came out, but I mean, I'm gonna go spend money on one. I had cassette tapes, and the sand has like alkali in it or whatever, and it like if it gets in shit, it kind of deteriorates the shit. So we had to like make sure we kept the tapes in a safe spot and all this crazy shit. But I don't know if you've seen the music video. We did an actual music video of Burning Man, and nobody's ever fucking done that. At least at that point, no one had ever done that. And we did. It's called Loose Knee Dance. It was one of the ones on the Rap Is a Joke. The first.
Yeah, no, you guys videos back then were super. It was all of it looked like it was just like, bro, like you said, it was, you were hitting at a level where you were like, we're gonna make it sound better than you. We're gonna shoot our videos and with cooler ideas and cooler, everything's gonna fit better than you. You guys worked harder on the packaging than everybody else.
But also had to work with what we got. Like who the fuck's recording music videos on tape on a little
yeah.
So all the shit for Birdie Man, that Loose Knee Dance video, that's tape. That's tape footage. I had to take the tape footage and bring it to motherfucking whatever Denevi's photo finisher or whatever the fuck down the street when I got home, and have them convert the tapes into digital, and then you lose quality and all that kind of shit. But it was the most wild and fun shit, bro, to just fucking go to Burning Man to like, hey, we're gonna record a fucking music video, and fuck what they tell us, because there's so much dope shit there. It's like a crackhead's playground. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they got so much shit you can just hang from and play on and look at and do all the weird shit. So we're just, we had to do the video.
I mean, I'm gonna definitely check it out after. Your channel has a lot of content, and you just kind of click randomly, and then you're pleasantly surprised by all of it. Like I watched El Money goofing on rappers over Skype with the features he was doing, and I was like, this is the most amazing shit.
I remember that.
Yo, explicit. What was it called? Offended.
Yeah. Or I think the highlight of that channel is you and Murphy the cop going back and forth. That is in possibly my top 10 YouTube videos right now.
Oh wow, really?
Dude, that is amazing. Just the dynamic you guys have. It's funny.
Was definitely,
then he's a cop. And like, it's like
when I found out that when you said that he's really a cop from Detroit, I was like, bro, that makes it that much better.
Yeah,
that makes it that much better.
And he's hella talented, bro. He can sing. He makes hella beats. I met the motherfucker on Battle App.
Oh my gosh, the Disaster and Cannabis reenactment was...
Yeah, the Disaster and Cannabis reenactment.
So that's one of the few battle raps I had seen. So I watched that.
Famous battle rap video.
Oh, you had already seen it.
So I saw the original. So I saw the original Cannabis thing way back, like the real battle, and then I saw your one today actually with Cannabis, and I was watching it, and I'm like, this is pretty like spot on. And when the notebook busts out and everything, I'm like, this is fucking great. That was another amazing video.
Bro, we went to that battle, to the Cannabis Disaster battle, and we were there in the pit with them. I'm standing next to Avocado when they're doing, like, I'm in there, and it was so bad.
Avocado, give context.
Avocado is the greatest man to ever have in a battle rap ever, because from a how do you say it, like cinematography side, like he helped elevate the shit out here on the West Coast like to a whole nother level. So he was always the man behind the camera. We sent him all the footage for the Andy Milanakis Dirt Nasty battle. We sent him all the footage to LA. I fucking overnighted him a bunch of the CDs on digital or some shit. And because we filmed it like a movie, like with different takes. And I called him and I'm like, yo, I got this fucking battle we did. We don't know what to do with it, because it wasn't a real battle. It was different takes of shit. And basically he just put it together the way that I didn't even have to tell him how I wanted it. He just put the shit together. You know what I'm saying? So the battle that you see when you watch Andy Milonakis and Dirt Nasty versus Frank Stacks and L Money is actually like a couple hours of footage. And we just sent it all to him and said, make it look dope.
Made it look dope. And how long was it? 10 minutes?
I think it's about 10 minutes. Probably about 10 minutes.
Dope.
And you know, we had to do different takes and shit because we were cracking up, bro. And like we all kind of wrote the shit together, and like we're just cracking up, and like it was hard to. If you watch back, there's little things that you could tell, like how come it's lighter now than it was darker earlier and it's lighter now, you know, like
yeah.
Like shit like that. Or like how come the beer can in his hand was crushed, but it wasn't crushed yet, like you know, all this type of shit. But like when the dude drove through the alley, that was all real unscripted. Let's like leave it in there. Let's fucking leave it in there. But we're in the pit, so that's how close, to give perspective, that's how close I am to this disaster and cannabis battle. And don't get me wrong, like disaster always got the best energy ever, but we're sitting there in this battle, bro, and it was way worse in person than it is on camera. Like for cannabis' side, like you could feel this, just you feel like shit, like you feel gross, bro, because he's about to get fucking murdered. He got no business being in this fucking ring. And we're sitting there, and me and El Money keep looking at each other, and we're like, yo, what the fuck? Like, is this a joke? Like, what the fuck? And you could, like, every time there was a moment of silence, it felt like 3 hours. So we literally left the battle and drove on the drive home, like, hey, we got to do a reenactment for that shit. That shit was garbage. So we had made the reenactment. We made the reenactment before they even put the video out because we knew what happened because we were there. So we just kind of did it based on memory, like on the first round this happened, on third round this happened, whatever the fuck. And we weren't gonna even put it out because we don't like putting out long videos. Like we'll usually be like a 3-minute freestyle video or some shit. So I start editing this reenactment video, and it's like 7.5 minutes. And I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm like, I don't know if it's funny. Like I can't tell if it's funny because I know I was there. And I wanted to wait until they uploaded it to the real one to upload ours. So we waited, like as soon as they uploaded it, boom, we uploaded ours. But I had to show it to a couple of people first before they were like, dude, you have to upload this. You can't not upload this. Like this is the funniest shit I've ever seen. And I'm like, but still to me, I'm like, because I was there when I made it and I was pretty much just freestyling the whole time. And then I had to edit the shit. After you sit there and you watch the same fucking shit of your own shit like a million times, it just gets boring to you after a while. It's like not funny to me anymore. Like it was funny in the moment, but now I'm like trying to like package it up for other people. And I'm
it's
like,
hard to keep that same feeling of
I didn't like it no more. And then I had a couple people like, yo, if you don't put this out, you're a fucking idiot. It doesn't matter if it's 100 hours long. It's fucking incredible. So yeah, we had to upload that shit, and I'm glad we did.
Yo,
they should have uploaded. I should have had them upload it. I was thinking it was gonna get like 1 million views, but it didn't get like a couple 100,000.
Yo, it was honestly a great video. Like it just brought, because you watch that battle one time, and you never forget it for the rest of your life. So then you watch your reenactment, and it's like that's pretty spot on.
It's pretty spot on.
It's pretty spot on.
Facts.
No, but all right. So you guys do your rap as a joke thing. Back to like the story of Frank Stacks. Are you Frank Stacks at this point, or are you Frank Jones at this point?
Ooh, good question. I did a mixtape in 2006 when I changed to Frank Stacks because Frank Jones was like, you know, me locally. And it was just my name. It was like, I mean, you know, when you're young, you have like these stupid hip hop names and shit. Like, you know, you come up with some fucking, my rap name is gonna be Equilibrium or whatever the fuck. You know, you come up with these stupid ass names.
You come up with crazy names.
None
of your friends call you that.
Yeah.
None of your friends are like, I'm gonna call you that. No, they don't.
And no, they don't. And I remember one of my rap names was I was probably like 16 or something. It was Immune. Like I had these stupid fucking names. So then I decided to go by Frank Jones because it rhymed with hella shit. I had a dumb one. It was Carnage Page. Nobody was calling me Carnage Page.
Yeah,
dude. It's like, no. I'm like, damn, this with the Frank Jones shit. But then Mike Jones came out. And every fucking where I went, bro, motherfuckers be like, Frank Jones. Who? There's even a fucking video of me competing at the Freestyle Olympics in like 2004, 2005. And Topper was the host. And he comes out and he's like, next to the stage, we got Frank Jones. And I'm just like, dude, it's just like cringe. because that was every time I went to any battle anywhere ever. I was always introduced like Mike Jones.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna just go by Frank or something. Or like at this point, I'm like, I don't know, man. And then I like people used to call me Nitty, obviously, because Frank Nitty. People call me Nitty back in the day. But that was like my nickname. Everybody called me Nitty. What's up, Nitty? Like still to this day, people call me Nitty. But you know how many fucking Frank Nitties there are in rap? That would have been the most sellout shit I could have possibly done if I called myself Frank Nitty or Frank White. You know, they call me Frank White. Like I can't do that shit. So one time my brother was like, we're from Hayward. We're all from Hayward, California. Like all of us, pretty much everybody in this whole story. And but Hayward is called the Stack, like the haystack. And like even your mom, your grandma, everybody know where you from. I'm from the Stack. That just means I'm from Hayward. Like everybody knows that shit. Anybody in the Bay Area knows the Stack is Hayward. And my brother was like, "Why don't you just call yourself like Frank Stack or some shit?" And I was like, "Frank Stack? It just sounds like Frank Stack." It just did. And I was like, "What if I just said Frank Stacks?" Because like Robert Stack, like Unsolved Mysteries, that sounds better than Frank Stack. So then it was Frank Stacks. And then like instantly, like the next day, went in the booth and was like Frank Stacks, and then it was like the whole zone changed. Like the whole shit did a whole mixtape with Frank Stacks. Like the whole shit just completely flipped, and it was like all the other shit I was doing before was like completely irrelevant at that point, and it just fit. It just made hella sense.
All right, so we got a few more questions. When did you get into like battles?
So that whole time, like in the early 2000s, you know, we're doing, you know, like whether it was high school or like, you know, past that, like, you know, you're doing, you know, just battles with you're battling whoever the fuck wants to rap, really, back then. But there was a couple venues that were always, you know, every month, you know, you can go there and sign up and you could battle. And one of them was Tourette's Without Regrets. And that's where a lot of the big, heavy, you know, hitting current day battle rap MCs came from. Like that was kind of like their bringing up was at this spot called Tourette's Without Regrets. And I would go every month. I wouldn't rap every month because I would usually go to like watch some of the other dudes that I knew. Cause I didn't really like doing all that, like battling on the stage. Like it just, I don't know, like something about it bothered me.
Who was at this like some of who?
Oh, you could go anywhere, at any given time you could go, and it's Lush One. Lush One was one of the first people I met there, like as a new person. Like first time I met him was there. The Saurus, I remember the first time he came and battled there. I mean, Ilmac, Dirtbag Dan, Tantrum, Kodiak, Old Man Miller, Bo Rat, Franco, FLO, fuck, dude, XI. I mean, if you name it, if they're from the Bay Area and they were doing any kind of grind time shit, they were at Tourette's first. Period. So back then it was crazy because we didn't even know what that was going to turn into later, but we were given a platform when we were hella young to like practice our skills on each other. And that's why the West Coast, I think the West Coast battle scene got so good because everybody that's still doing it today they were all battling against each other that whole time, like for literally years. Occasionally I would go do a battle, but I was still kind of in that, like, I'm angry at all these rappers mode back then. You know what I'm saying? I'm like if you say some shit I don't like, I'm gonna hit you. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't like that type of shit. I liked on the block around with a bunch of people, like in a pit, rapping. I didn't like that holding the microphone, battling somebody's shit. I wasn't like, I don't know. I was just a dick. I was a fucking hater. Like I said, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't like what was new to me. I didn't like certain shit, but it was, when I did do it, I was good at it and it was cool. I just didn't do a lot of it. And then when they did the first Grind Time West Coast event, Lush One hit me up and he was like, "Hey, I need you to come do this battle." He's like, "It's like on camera. I'm gonna send you a link so you can see. It's kind of like the WRCs." And I'm like, "Nah, dude, I don't really do that shit no more. Like, I'm not trying to do this shit. I'm making this music. You know, I was working on the Rap Is a Joke album at the time, and like, I didn't want to do it. I really didn't want to do it at all." And he was like, "Well, your boy Kodiak is gonna do it, and he's gonna battle this dude, and I want you to battle his buddy, this other guy, whoever the fuck it was." And I'm just like, I don't want to do it, bro. Like, I literally don't want to do it. And I remember one time, I don't remember what happened, but like I was going through some shit and Lush called me again. And I remember I was driving my car in the rain and I was fucking hammered or some fuck. I was going through some shit. And he was like, "Dude, I need you to fucking do this battle." Like he needed to fill a spot and he wanted me to to be that spot to represent for Grind Time West Coast, like hella bad. I just didn't want to do it. And I finally said, all right, fuck it, I'll do it. But I still don't want to do it. And then I find out that you got to write the battle. Now I'm hella mad. I'm hella fucking mad, bro. I'm like, you want me to fucking write ahead of time for another dude and fucking rap about him?
And fucking rap about him?
I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And then like he showed me some links.
That right there is that classic Frank Stacks delivery right there.
Like I couldn't believe. And then Kodiak, honestly, Kodiak was like, look, and obviously like in terms of rap in general, like I felt like I'm already like light years beyond these dudes. But when it comes to that type of environment, I just didn't want to fucking do it. I wasn't comfortable doing it. And Kodiak's like, look, we're gonna go to the studio, and I'm gonna force you to come to the studio with me, and we're gonna practice. I'm like, what do you mean we're gonna practice rap? Like, we're gonna practice a rap? Like I'm so mad, bro. Like I'm so like it's not like the fact that it's not freestyle. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna freestyle, and they're like, there's no beat, and I'm like, wow. You guys signed me up for this shit. Like,
that's such a real rapper thing from back then.
There's
wow,
no beat.
This is what we're doing now. Huh?
Yeah, there's no beat. You got to write the shit. There's no microphone in your hand. You're just fucking rapping. So how awkward is that? Like now I got nothing to do with my fucking hand. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, oh my god, dude. So. I still didn't write the shit. But after I knew I had to do this battle in a couple weeks, and I seen the dude I had to write for, so of course I think of some shit. But then like the day before the fucking battle, or 2 days before the battle, the dude dropped out the battle, so he got replaced with one of his homies or some shit, which happened to be S-Rock. And let's just tell him, he's like, yo, dude, all these guys are writing. They're all fucking writing their shit. But then I talked to Dirtbag Dan, and he's like, I'm Dirtbag Dan, bro. I'm not gonna write. I don't write. I'm gonna go in there and I'm a freestyle. So I'm like, yeah, fuck these fools. Let's fucking freestyle, Dan. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck these fucking weird motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So let's fucking go in there and freestyle, dude. And Dan went first, and he had the easiest fucking opponent ever in the planet. Is Dirtbag Dan. Like he could have farted on him and would have won. Like the dude sucked so bad. I had already thought of some shit that I wanted to say to the other dude that I kind of wanted to use. But then I had to freestyle, and since I didn't really write it, I don't know how long the rounds are. It was the most awkward shit. But it came across on camera incredibly well, as like, you know, I just demolished this fucking guy, and everybody like, who the fuck is this dude Frank Stacks? And you know, they sent it to D-Rect and Matt Ills and all them back then. Like they just started sending the video out, and everybody started hitting me up like, yo, you got to do another one of these. Like this is fucking incredible. And I'm like, man, dude, like. I didn't even like doing the one I just did. You know what I'm saying?
Frank is like, what do you mean?
I'm like, you know how much time I just spent not preparing to prepare? You know what I'm saying? Like, even that was annoying me. You know what I'm saying? And but then the video dropped on YouTube, and it got the most views I ever got on anything in like one day ever. Right at that point, like just 2008, and it was just crazy, like how well it come across on camera. Because as much as you got you got nerves and shit or anxiety when you're actually doing it in the moment, you're not thinking about what you're saying, or if it's like having the impact, or you like don't even hear people screaming and hollering and laughing and everything. But then you see the video, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm good at this shit. You know what I'm kind of good at this shit. The comments like me. They like me in the comments. There's no haters for me in the comments. That's a new thing. So,
fuck me.
But then, of course, I'm like, I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest of all time. Again, here we are.
Yeah, I mean,
this is hilarious, though. I don't often laugh. You got me laughing.
I should have had you laughing more, but you were giving me some serious questions, bro. So I had a straight face laced. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, just bro. I don't even laugh a lot. You can ask Flacco. I barely laugh.
That's fucking hilarious because I remember, and I can understand because I felt the same way. You know, like I remember when International Pete told me never to come in there freestyling again, and I had the cameraman laughing. Bro, the cameraman laughing, shaking the fucking camera, laughing. And I'm like, you're going to tell me who just made your cameraman laugh when freestyling to never come in here freestyling again, and then I have to write my shit and sound like all these other generic people. Like, what? It makes no sense. Like, yeah. So I understand.
That was the evolution of battle rap, not only for battle rap, but for me and a lot of other rappers, because you were forced into this new, this new era of this is how we do things now, and you don't get a fucking choice, because if you come unprepared and that dude is prepared, you're gonna look like a fucking idiot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And as good as like I still think to this day, like if I'm out somewhere and motherfucker, if I'm vibing and I'm freestyling, I'm gonna fucking cook it. But it's still kind of hard for me to sit down and write some shit. That's why I haven't done a lot of battles. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like putting all that energy into, like I still like making music. I'm still releasing music, but I just could never put that much energy into, as much as I could be funny off the top. Like for example, I did stand up one time. Oh my God, it was the worst. It was the fucking worst, because you got to write jokes now. You gotta write motherfucker. It's the same type of shit. My boy forced me to do it. He's like, you're the funniest dude I know. You just gotta do it. They're doing an open mic. You like 7 minutes. And I'm like writing jokes. I'm like, this is the fucking lamest shit ever. Because now I'm like trying to make up something that's funny. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to come up with a joke to tell to make people laugh, instead of just being myself. I'm being funny. So like I could sit up there and talk about the audience all night and clown those motherfuckers, and that would be better than the stand-up that I did. I was talking about all kind of stupid shit. They actually took me, they said, okay, your time's up, bro. When I was on the stage. You know what I mean? Like your time's up. And I'm like dressed the same way as I am right now on stage in a fucking comedy club, trying to do comedy. But it's better when it's just off the top, dude. And that is also how I feel about when I make music now too. Like if I sit there and try to write a song, like, and force it don't come out good. But if I throw on a beat and hit record, like I did when I was in the motherfucking car, when I was 16 years old, and just start freestyling the first time I hear that beat, whatever fucking cadence and rhythms and shit that I got are going to be so fucking dope that I can take that recording and then listen back to it and be like, oh, that's how the song's supposed to go. So I'm gonna make a song like this. So now for the past like 5 or 6 years, anytime I want to write a song or anytime I want to create something, I don't even have a pen. I just hit record, and whatever the fuck comes off the top of my head, then I'll just kind of edit it up. You know what I'm saying? And
I use my iPhone, and I just use my voice notes on my iPhone.
It's the best.
And that's it. Like if it's not, if something doesn't, if it doesn't hit me and start hitting me immediately, then just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Maybe see if somebody else that I'm fucking with, wants to take the lead on like that song, on that beat. But like, if it's not coming to me, like I'm not gonna sit there and just keep on forcing it. No, it just doesn't make sense.
No, and there was when I'm trying to think, like when we're doing all those, like all the comedy songs, right? Like those ones I would write down, because a lot of it was like parody. So I have to actually, you gotta think about, what is this person saying? Like if I'm gonna be Drake right now, I need to match Drake.
Oh my gosh, that one with the future Drake song that you redid was fucking hilarious. That was an amazing fucking parody.
Was it Future or True Chains? Or
no, it was the I'm on the good cushion alcohol. I don't remember like your version's name of it, but it's that like fuck. Anyway, one of your parodies is the most hilarious, and Drake song.
Yeah, dude, I fucking love parodying Drake, bro. He's just so easy to parody, and all you gotta do is take what he's saying, like I did back in the day, and rewrite the shit to say some other shit, but make it dope in a whole different context, and it's hella fun. So it's not even forced at that point. But if you walk up to me and say, "Hey, let's make a song about whatever the fuck, like any rap song title you could think of," I'm gonna have a hard time writing some shit. But if you don't say nothing to me and you just put on the beat and tell me to rap, I'll come up with the whole song. I'll come up with 3 verses and a hook right there. You know what I mean? Like, then edit it up. It's more fun, dude. Like you said, and like Dutch, like you were saying earlier, like you can feel the energy when the energy's there, but when the energy's forced, that comes off too in a negative way. So it's like it's the same thing.
Absolutely. That's why I also understood what you were saying earlier about like the not knowing, you know, the nerves. Like people don't understand. If you never battled in like modern era, they don't like understand. Like for some reason, the nerves are different. Like I remember being coming up in New York City and like battling in neighborhoods that like I knew that like shit could go left as fuck, you know? And like I'm here disrespecting the dude that's the dude of the area with rapping to his face, you know, and shit could go left as fuck. And I never had the type of nerves that I would have once the fucking cameras were on and we was doing shit with fucking grind time. Like it was weird. I don't know why. But like, so it's hard to describe how like sometimes you'll have nerves, but it'll work to your advantage, those nerves. And those nerves will like, they'll come across good and it'll give your energy off really well on camera. And then sometimes like you have those nerves and like it just like does something that it just causes you to be kind of like off beat essentially, even though there isn't a beat.
Yeah, you just can't
force it.
Yeah, you can't force it. You can't be on point if you're not on point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so basically then you got the battle rap thing going on, and just Lush One kind of forces you into it, and then you're excellent at it, and it outperforms your YouTube channel. But how did you get into YouTube in the first place?
That was just one of those things where it's like you had to. Well, let me clarify though. We didn't upload the battles to our own YouTube. The battles went on the Grind Times YouTube. So they obviously had a fan base, but at that time, when it was uploaded, like because they're uploading battles every day, but that was one of those ones where everybody was like, "Hey, you got to watch this dude, Frank, fucking cook this fool." So like in a day when it got like 20,000 views, like that was fucking wild for anybody at that point.
Right.
But you know, we had a YouTube channel. I don't even think we might not even fucking had one yet at that point. I'm sure we did, but not a lot on it. Like if you go back on our YouTube channel, the oldest video is probably 2012 or something like that.
It's like Andy Milak. I don't know how to say his last name. That for like 6 seconds or something, shouting you out.
Yeah, I don't even know why the fuck that's on there or who uploaded it.
But you should leave that there. It's a fucking gem. It's a great gem.
That just happens to be the first video that we fucking uploaded at that point. So yeah, that's probably like 2000 and maybe 2009 or 10 maybe.
Yeah, it's crazy how you know all these people. Like, how did you end up linking up with, like, I don't know, Andy and Dirt Nasty and all of these, Mickey Avalon, I think, and all these people?
I got a phone call one time from, I'm trying to think what really happened or if I'm making this up.
I love that answer.
because somebody, I want to say back in the day, YouTube, when I made a YouTube, you could message people on YouTube. Like you could message another YouTube account.
Yeah, you could.
Okay, so I used to be on YouTube talking shit and like to other people, like people in the like used to be in the inbox like it was a fucking social media or something. And I got a message from Andy Milanakis on the YouTube, and he was like, "Hey, give me your phone number. We want to call you." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." Like, I still gave them my phone number. Whatever the fuck.
You're both weirdos, by the way.
Something happened.
But by the way, that's the fucking best way to have been. For you to have been that like willing to like be like, yeah, I'll give you my phone number, stranger online. And for him, stranger online, to be like, yo, let me get your phone number so we can get some shit cracking. It's just like
in 2009, and this is probably 2010, as it must have been 2009. The only battle I think I had out was the S-Rock battle. Fuck, I don't remember. I honestly, those years are all mixed up, but I still didn't believe it anyways. But I don't give a fuck. Back then, I don't care who has my phone number. Back then, I didn't even have a fucking smartphone. It was just a fucking phone. You know what
I mean? Yeah.
Like all I could do on it was text hella fast with my eyes closed. Like, well, what's up? You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I get a phone call, and he's like, "What's up, dude? It's Andy Milanakis." And I'm like, "Yeah, right." And then it's him and Dirt Nasty and somebody else, Andre Legacy or something. And they were like, yo, we think you're great. We want to fucking do some shit with you, make some music, like whatever. We're going to come to the Bay for this show or something. They end up coming up they ended up coming up, or Simon Dirt Nasty came up, and me and Madness went out with him for a night. Like he invited us out, and we just went fucking ape shit and had hella fun. And then a few months later is when we kind of finally started like sharing music with them and like all that type of shit. And these dudes came to the studio, like they came to record some songs and to do that battle. So in the span of that day, we did like the interview for the battle. We filmed the battle all day, and we recorded a couple songs with them. Those motherfuckers in the booth, they knock their shit out faster than fucking any rapper I've been done rapped with in the booth. They go in there and one take Jake the whole shit like a fucking professional, fucking mind blowing. Like all the rappers I've been around my whole life, and here Andy Milonakis and Dirt Nasty come in and just one take Jake the whole shit. And we're laughing, obviously fucking hilarious. We're like, the only time we had to stop was when they're fucking laughing. Like they didn't have to do, oh, let me do that over. I didn't like how my voice, like rappers be doing. You know what I mean? But that one day where they came to the studio, it was pretty fucking productive. You know, we did the battle video and did a couple songs. We did the Rape Somebody song, which we actually had to take down for like some Dirt Nasty was like getting legal shit coming at him for putting that song out. Like it was crazy, bro, back then. Like shit was fucking wild. That Rape Somebody song was back when YouTube had like rankings in new music that came out. And that song was #1 for like a week on YouTube, like the song itself. And so it was getting a hell of attention, mostly negative, because it was fucking called Rape Somebody, obviously. Yeah. But it was still a parody. Like it was like, you know, you can't joke about rape. Well, like I'm talking about raping fucking Beavis and Butthead on this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but Dirt Nasty was in the middle of doing these college tours, and he was getting canceled. Like they were canceling him like left and right.
Before there's a cancel culture,
dude. Because of the song, there was women coming with signs that say, "Rape is about as funny as me chopping your dick off," and like all this other type of shit. And we performed the song live one time. He came up another time. We performed it live at Slim's in San Francisco, which closed down recently. But it was like one of the better live music venues there. We performed that song live, and it was a whole sea of people that already knew the fucking song, and it was fucking wild to me, because it wasn't like the little club experiences that we had before where people knew the song because they came to the club all the time. This was like, these people heard this shit online, you know what I'm saying? And they know the fucking words. So for me, that was like, that shit was fucking dope. But then we had to take the song out, remove him off it, re-release it, all this fucking wild shit happened. But yeah, I've been fucking with them still. To this day, I talk to Simon like all the time.
Yeah, that's mad dope.
That's great that you guys got a good relationship like that.
Yeah, no, he has an astounding Wikipedia page. Anyway, his story, it just is. It's the way.
Yeah, he's a very interesting character. He's hella smart. He's been around. He's from the Bay Area too.
Oh, word?
Yeah, he's from right there in Alameda, like just not far at all. Okay. That's why when he comes in the 1980s shit, he's got all the A's gear on. Like he's really an A's fan. Like he's from out here. He's from like
word.
So you basically.
Which shouts, we had a conversation in your inbox about the A's, because I was telling you how much I love your A's jacket, and so shouts out to the A's, specifically shouts out to the 1989-90 Oakland A's team with Mark McGuire, Jose Canseco, Ricky Henderson, Dave Stewart, Dennis Eckersley,
Don Baylor.
Yo, Walt Weiss, crazy team. Shouts out to the Oakland A's.
Yeah, that was some. Back when those were your heroes back then.
Yeah, for real, those were my heroes.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know. I'm Canadian. I'm like, I don't fully.
Perfect.
You guys aren't talking about hockey, so I'm not really. Anyway. No, but it's okay. So you link up with these guys, and you're doing all this YouTube stuff at some point or another, and you're involved in battles. You battled the O'Shea, is that his name? The guy.
Yeah.
You battle him at some point. How does that happen? Because that's the first thing that appears when I type in Frank Stacks into YouTube.
Well, I did the S-Rock battle, and then that got the attention of everybody from Florida, where Grind Time started in Florida, right? So when I did the S-Rock battle on Grind Time's platform, and then they Seen that, then they had me come battle Surgeon General in Florida, which you know, at the same time, still I'm kind of like I don't really like doing this shit, but it was so dope to do it and see it on the video and everything. So like, plus I had just made the connection with Caustic and Madness and shit like that out here. So Madness is like, hey, we'll go to Florida. Madness actually lived out here at the time. So he's like, hey, well, I'll go to Florida. We stay at my mom's house. We can stay at Cap Callis' house. We can stay, Smooth's house. We could do whatever we want out there for like a week. So when I went to, Battle Surgeon General, that was a bigger deal for everybody because Surgeon General for them was like a household name on the battle rap shit. And I battled him like on his home turf, kind of. Nobody knew who the fuck I was at all. Like zero, nobody, like, who the fuck is this dude? Just came in and cooked him. And then, it wasn't long after that video came out where Don't Flop called me from England and was like, we want you to battle O'Shea, who was at the time was like their champion, right? So, and in between that time, I think Dutch had hit me up, and
I was trying to get you in.
Norbs had hit me up a couple times, and I remember, dude, and I'll never forget this shit because I regret it to this day. And I forget who he wanted me to battle. If it was like somebody with X in his name, X Factor or some shit like that. And he was like, yeah, 3-minute rounds. And I already hate writing the shit. And I'm like, at the time, I'm like, 3-minute rounds? Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, I ain't finna fly out there to write to rap for 9 minutes. Like, that was crazy to me. Like, a minute, okay, I get it. It's a minute. You know what I mean? Or maybe a little over a minute was what we were doing back then. But in hindsight, man, I'm a fucking dumbass because I'd have been on Smack fucking first from
yeah, you would have.
And but I didn't know what the fuck I was or wasn't doing. You know what I mean? So obviously, when I got invited to Don't Flop, I was like, I'm not gonna make the same mistake twice. I'm gonna go out there regardless if it's 2 minutes or whatever. And it wasn't. It was like 90 seconds or 2 minutes or something. But still, it was like, damn, I always regretted not battling X Factor, or whoever the fuck it was back then. It had an X in his name. On fucking Smack. But I didn't know. I didn't fucking know.
Yeah, that's still big interesting that you decided to learn from the opportunity and make it something instead of just lamenting when the next came around. That's dope, though. I did watch all of the battles you mentioned because I couldn't find any others. So if there are others, I did not see them.
I think he's like supreme. The limited runs.
Yeah. I think I did 3 one-on-one battles, which is crazy because I don't see myself on any type of a lower level than the rest of these dudes who do 5 of them a year still. I did like 3 one-on-one battles, and I did a couple parody shits here and there, and then I did the two rumbles, the 2 Caddy Royale rumbles. But like we all grew up together, shit. Like we all, we've been doing this together for the most part. A lot of us, like I said, I've known Lush One and Source and Ilmac and all these dudes for almost 20 years. So to me, it doesn't feel like I only did a couple battles. It really doesn't. Like, it feels like I did just the same as everybody else. I just wasn't around as much, but it just to be like, I feel like we done grew up together and shit.
Right. So simultaneous to that, you have all the music going on, and you guys are pushing the rap as a joke thing.
I'll say that again.
And then at the same time, you're pushing the Rap as a Joke project all at the same thing. This is a music idea because I saw you have a bunch of albums that came out. You have a lot of different stuff on YouTube. You have a website, and it's hard to identify more of what it is. So, like, what is Rap as a Joke at this time?
Well, at this point, Rap as a Joke it's. So we used to do the band shit. We stopped doing that, and we just started focusing everything on Rap as a Joke, because, it like we said earlier, it's just more like that phrase, that slogan, whatever it is. We started doing all this funny stuff, and it was so appealing to everybody, but we still wanted to make the music that was true to us and keep that branding. So we wanted to make like a go back to the hood shit and make a street album. and we made a street album with hella Bay Area features, like legends from the Bay Area, like the Jacka, AP9, Killa Tay, Ager Man, you know, Spice One, T Nutty, like a lot of these dudes that were from this area out here, who everybody here knows who they are. But we had already kind of had them in the studio, and like we knew them. Like I'm hella close with AP9, and we would bring all these rappers in, and yeah, we were making the funny shit. But then we decided, okay, let's do this whole Bay Area hood shit album, and then we're gonna call it All Jokes Aside. So then on the cover, it's like half of the logo, like the little face logo, like this right here. It's like the half of the face, or whatever. And it's not a funny song on the whole shit. It's just slappers like all the way through. So that gave us like a dynamic to where then we did start getting more attention because we were still using the rap as a joke, you know, as like the promotional aspect. But then we're really fucking rapping, and we're rapping with all these dudes. So when I did the O'Shea battle was when we were heavily promoting that All Jokes Aside record, and that motherfucker got hella downloads. Like it was crazy. A lot of people were expecting more comical shit, but then they got something that was in some ways better and unexpected. And then so it's like, okay, so now these fools are like yin yang, you know, with the fucking they got both bases covered. Um, and that was like one of the funnest projects I did because I mean it got all my favorite rappers on it. Like growing up, like I'm literally making songs with my favorite rappers, and it's not like I'm charging them, oh, send me a verse, and like I'm actually like in the studio like rapping with these fools that I grew up listening to, which was just crazy to us, both me and El Money, like Killa Tay and Spice One and shit. Like that shit was just crazy to us. Other people might not necessarily know who they are, but to us it was like it might as well be Tupac. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
those are Bay Area legends.
it's just dope to have that, and we still have hella music that we made with all them that we never even released because it didn't, you know, fit the album or fit the, you know, kind of what we were working with. But then it got to the point where okay, now we did both. We did some comedy and we did some other shit. Now it got like where like it was almost like whatever we throw at the wall is gonna stick. So let's just throw some random shit at the wall. And I mean, dude, it was crazy how that happened. That's how it got into like rape somebody, and like how extreme can we get? Like dead prostitute in my trunk, and like
that prostitute in my trunk the video was really dope though.
Yeah, we did. We filmed like a 2-day like with fucking gaffers and lighters and like we did the whole shit. Because the dude that ran Tourette's Without Regrets, who was Jamie the Wolf. I showed him a bunch of the songs and he was like, yo, this dead prostitute in the trunk. He's like, I want to direct it. I want to just do it. You just got to pay for, you know, the light guy's lunch and whatever the fuck. And, you know, go buy some costumes and shit. And I want to film it. I want to direct the whole thing. So that was like a 2-day, you know, we had like 40 people involved. That shit was crazy, but
that's blessed.
We were literally seeing how explicit can we get? How far can we push the envelope? There was no idea that we were going to turn down. Like if El Money came up with an idea, I came up with an idea. We're like, all right, let's just write about it. Let's just go in there and do it. And Madness and Cap Callous came out one time for the weekend, and we spent the whole night in the studio. We recorded like 7 songs. And Rape Somebody was one of them. Rape Van, Prostitute in the Trunk. They all ended up being on that album. And we did like 7 fucking songs, which was crazy because I mean because it wasn't anything that we prepared for. Like it wasn't like we knew we were gonna do these songs. Like now I get to the studio, I know what I'm gonna fucking do. I go in there and I bang it out. That was like one of those, okay, how many songs can we come up with and just do them right now? So we did so many fucking songs. It was a double album, and it was called Explicit: The Double Penetration.
I remember that.
Because it was the double disc, but instead of double discs, it says double dicks. You can't tell unless you really look at it. Like look at it, says dicks 1 and dicks 2, and Chris, who was my engineer for all this shit, he's a member on the Grammy board at this point, so he's able to submit music to the Grammys for review, and we submitted the album for comedy album of the year in 2010, I think. And they hit us back like more people want to get physical copies of this. More people on the board want physical copies of this, and they fucking loved it, right? And this is like it's like a 2 CD album full of just fucking horrible, vulgar shit. And we were in like the top 20 to get a nomination for comedy album of the fucking year. And then it got to the point where it was like nobody's gonna vote for this because, I mean, the first song is called "Rape Somebody." Like, you know what I mean? And I think fucking like Jimmy Kimmel or somebody won that year or something. And I'm just like, dude, if the powers that be let that get like a nomination, like everybody involved would have had a Grammy nomination. Like that shit would have been the most wildest shit ever. Because it is hella dope. It's just a lot of content. It's so much fucking content. And some songs I'm not even on. Some songs that Money's not even on. But it's like just whatever we did, whatever we wanted to come up with, we just fucking recorded it and put it on this. Next thing you know, we got like 30 songs for this double album. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, but that's still crazy because at the end of the day, you push that to the point of almost getting a Grammy nomination.
Which is, yeah. Which, I mean, what can I do with the almost nomination? Nothing. But for me, it was definitely some. It was definitely some
yo,
you know, just kind of reinforcement.
Top 20 of a genre according to the Grammys. I'm not like a huge fan of the Grammys. It doesn't mean a lot to me in like a personal way. Being top 20 of anything is pretty fucking great.
That's a super accolade to just have.
Top 20 of all the comedy people.
There's no. I doubt that anybody else in like the
nobody's saying shit like that.
Rap, you know what I mean? Can like come close to saying that.
That's a huge flex.
Well, and when people were always saying like, you know, why don't you do more battles? Why don't you do more battles? I'm like, I would if I wasn't making music. Like I feel like when I'm making beats, I'm not rapping. When I'm doing battles, I'm not rapping. You know what I mean?
You make beats too?
Dude, I used to make some fire ass beats, but that's all I could do. When I was doing that, I couldn't put no energy into nothing else. And I would sit there and I'd make these dope ass beats, and then I can't even rap on them. I couldn't even rap on them because it was like, to me, that was the whole song already. Because I didn't spend 4 hours on the whole beat. You know what I'm saying? Like tweaking shit and doing all shit.
You were on your Flying Lotus shit.
Yeah, then I'm like, I don't even want to rap on this shit. So I was just giving them.
Now this don't need nobody on it. There's a lot of this generation.
Yeah, I'm just gonna run to the washroom right quick.
Yeah, go ahead. This like generation of like young producers, like the producers that I worked with on the Liddy Bros album, the first one, they're like all like somewhere between like 18 to like 22 around there. And like I have been following them for like 4 years before that album. Yep. So like I have been following them since they were like 14. And like they have like a whole community where like they get thousands, hundreds of thousands of plays, and they don't necessarily want or need anybody like putting any vocals. Like they look at the beats as they made them as complete. You know, like this is the song. This is the song. And I'm like, what do you mean? That's a fucking lit ass beat, bro. Like I gotta rap over that.
Dude, son. That's how I felt when I was making these shits. And when I made beats, I played everything out. I didn't use Fruity Loops and Reason and shit. I didn't know how to do that. I'd sit down in front of a big ass motif, and I'd play some shit and play the drums and like all that shit. I would play it out, and then I would import those audio files into Pro Tools. And then I would fuck with it in Pro Tools. And then I would add samples and shit. Then I'd have my guitar homie put guitar on it. Or I'd have my bass homie put bass on it. Or whatever it was. But then it's like, to me, it was like, this is its own thing. Like, I can't even imagine what type of lyrics would go on it at this point. Because I made it. But then you give me a beat that I never heard. I'll rap on it just like that. It's just weird. It's like a weird fucking thing. And then also I wasn't rapping. I was making all these beats for a year and a half. I couldn't rap. I wasn't feeling it because I was
wasn't in that zone. You was in the producer zone.
I want to get high and sit down on my keyboard and fucking, you know, geek out on my keys. You know, it wasn't until Kodiak came to the studio time. Him and his fat ass brother came, hella drunk, walked right in the studio and fell on my keyboard and it exploded. The whole motif just shattered, like when dude fell on it, and that was the last day I ever made a beat. Because I was like, I'm not going to buy another one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't doing beats anyways, and ain't nobody else was gonna buy me another one. So I was like, fuck it, just I guess I gotta start rapping again. Fuck.
So I mean, what you think that you would have kept on like on that road of like producing more so than rapping if you?
I do miss it, and I still want to do it sometimes, especially now, like because um it's something I could do at the house. It's something I could do wherever, some headphones in. Uh, and I tell my wife every year for Christmas, I'm like, hey, I need that new $4,000 motif XF. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And she's like, fuck you. But every year I'm gonna keep asking. You know what I'm saying? I need to get that motif in here. And
I mean, you could just
like
start with like
shit.
an app
Well,
nowadays.
I actually bought this. I actually bought this thing.
Little
I
mini.
haven't figured out yet. Yeah, I got the little mini. I just haven't figured it out yet and set it up.
You
But I was
should. You
talking
should.
with I was fucking with Gambit, and he was telling me like how he does it. I'm trying to get this was like during the pandemic and shit. When I started getting all my shit set up, so he told me what to get. That's how I'm running this mic through here right now from all the shit that Gambit told me to get.
Word.
But I do need to hit him up and fucking tell him to show me how to fucking connect all this fucking shit. Like I said, I'm not good with all that.
Oh, that's
I
busted.
rap my ass off though.
Facts.
Yo,
Stop it.
what is this? What is this rap app that you end up rapping on?
Okay, so Dirt Nasty calls me one day, and he's like, "Yo, there's this app out. It's Burner's app, and it's called Battle App. You got to get on it." And again, I'm like, dude, hell no. You know what I'm saying? It just sounds like the dumbest shit ever. Because you go on it and it's just random people talking shit. Um, but there was actually some dope dude. There was some dope people on there, like dudes, chicks, everything. So I download the app and then I start calling people I know, like, yo, this shit is actually kind of dope. Like, because what you do is you just take the phone and you could just pick any battle. Somebody could just record for 30 seconds. You could pick anything that anybody did that they left open for 30 seconds, and you can respond to it however the fuck you want. And usually they pick the beat. So the beat, and they have a hella good beat selection. Like they got hundreds of beats, bro. They got everything you could imagine. All the Kanye shit, Drake shit, Meek Mill, fucking you name it, it's fucking on there. Tupac, they got everybody's beats. So you could just 30 seconds, record it, boom, send it. And then when it gets sent like that, now it's a battle that shows up in everybody's feed. Now everybody can watch it and vote on it. So it actually became pretty fucking addictive. If the owners of the app took it seriously, which is Burner, but I mean he's in the cookie business, like he ain't got no time for that shit.
He don't got no time
Like
for that.
like that shit would have blown up. But the small time frame that I was on it, maybe like under a year, I was obsessed, bro. I was stuck in that shit because I could hop in the car and open it up and see, oh, so and so sent you a battle, and just respond to the shit and then just keep going. And I was just one take Jaking it all the time and just cooking fools. And then people start forming posses and groups and shit. And then like all this, then everybody has to start getting better because now they're like, oh, I gotta beat this dude. Big T was on there for a minute, Big K was on there for a minute, Awkwards was on there for a minute, but nobody really stuck with it. I think a lot of the big name battle rappers didn't want to get on there and get roasted by Joe Schmo down the street, type of shit. But I fucking welcomed that shit, bro. I thought it was great. Like if somebody could cook me or make fun of me and you old fat Italian dude, and that's why you never made it in rap and all this shit. I'm like, dude, this is fucking great. Like it's a place where all these people can interact with me who in other ways wouldn't have been able to, and then I battle them and they're like, oh my god, it's like Cameo, that fucking app where you could whatever. People are like, oh my god, I battled Frank Stacks. Like that's crazy to me, right? Like, and it's crazy to me too because it's dope. It's like dope for them. Like if I had an opportunity to do some shit like that with like me, for example, recording with some of my favorite rappers like I did, like for them that's almost equally as dope to, oh fuck, I battled Frank Stacks, he killed me. You know what I mean? Like
I battled Shaq.
Dude, but the app it fell apart. Like it just started sucking. Like there was like people were filming themselves taking shits and fucking jerking off, and all kind of fat bitches started getting naked. It got real nasty. There was nobody was like censoring it or like managing it, and it just
That's no fun.
Yeah.
No, but I didn't even know that it existed if it wasn't for that like one with the cop that you put out, which again that video is priceless. Like it really just
if you ever
showed.
downloaded it, if you ever really wanted to go down the rabbit hole. If you downloaded it and went to my page, I literally have like 9,000 battles. which are like a minute each, right? But it's so fucking funny, bro. Because I would sit there, I would go, you know what I would do is I'll go hotbox the whip, at night, and I just be on that motherfucker for like an hour. Anybody who sent me battle, I just respond. So I do back to back to back to back freestyles, not even know what I did, and then the next day go back and look and see all the shit that I did, and it's fucking gold. Like it's just pure comedy gold. So if you ever go down that fucking rabbit hole, bro, it's like the endless content. Like I don't know how there's so much fucking content. I don't know how I still am married and have a job after all the fucking battle apps I did. Like taking up all my time, fucking just responding to all these Joe Schmoes down the street. Like this shit was crazy.
That app, they should have changed the name to like I Got Time.
Yeah, for real. Because you'd have to.
My
It's addictive as fuck.
my favorite one that you have on that channel is like you're on your way to work and you're like late for a fucking meeting or it's early in the morning or something and you're just fucking mad at it. And I'm like, I've never felt
Oh, I'm like wearing my suit.
Yeah, I never felt bars
Yeah.
harder in my life than that feeling. Because you get booked at that meeting and you're like, yo, that's 30 minutes before I'm supposed to even be there or whatever. So you're already just off. And, I
Yep.
just felt it. I don't know, man. It's cool that you have that too, right? It's not just like just vapid or goofy. It's like all of a sudden you just tap into that Carlin-esque style of human connection. That's what I think Carlin did really well. Like he connected with people at like the most regular shit and then dropped the super political on them. So you
Right.
just you got that connecting mixed in with it. Like I don't know. I heard your battles and I'm like, how is he getting away with some of this shit? But it works so beautiful. It just like it's like you just have this like self-awareness to the situation that just transcends and makes it such a good experience. Like I don't know that I would want to watch anybody else write a song called "Rape Somebody" and listen to it, but
Right. Right.
I don't know.
Well, it's
Now
funny. It's
you
funny
might
too
put
because
it
like
up.
I know a lot of obviously a lot of battle rappers, and like if I know who they're gonna battle, um I say like, hey, you should say this, and they, every time they be like, bro, I can't say that. Like if you did it, it would work. Like because it's so fucking stupid, right? It's just like the dumbest shit, And I'm like, hey, but it's fucking funny. It's like, yeah, but if they said it, they would know you said it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like you can't.
Your humor is particular to you.
Yeah, it's
Facts.
like somehow I could get away with saying like the dumbest shit ever, and it doesn't sound as dumb as it is. But if you looked at it on paper, it's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? It's fucking retarded. Um, but yeah, somehow it worked. So I just ran with that. That's another thing that's fucked up, is because you watch these battles where I'm saying the dumbest shit ever. You must think I have no vocabulary or no songs writing abilities or nothing like that, because it's nowhere near like my bars. You know what I'm saying? Like even on battle app, I have more bars than I do in a regular battle. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking hilarious. Like, but there's something about when a live battle, you just have to kind of be an idiot to to win. I don't know what that is.
I don't know, but it almost felt like you lampooned the entire situation. But then when we talked about your feelings going into it, it's like you didn't want to be there. You didn't really want to do it. Rap is a joke, so let's do it. Rap is a joke. And then you just like doubled down. And I was like, nah, I think that's how you get away with it. Like there was one time where it's like the shit didn't rhyme or anything. You just dropped that word. And it just worked because you're like, you know what? Rappers say this shit all the time, so fuck it. I'm gonna just say this shit right now. And you know
Yeah.
what? I guarantee you it's gonna work because it's so preposterous. And I'm like, yo, that was like at a level where I was like, I see what you're doing there. And that's what made it work because nobody else could do it because nobody else is calling rap a joke.
Right.
And it's a clever campaign, man. I mean, when you really think about it, I'm like, yo, I understand where you're coming from about it. It's I think maybe like it's and then when you take it less seriously and it becomes more fun, it's like people connect with it more because in life people don't necessarily like it when people take things too seriously. Is what I'm trying to learn to smile and
Yeah.
laugh more, and
And,
just
it's just for us. It's like like you when you talk about like the website, like what is it, and like what it's kind of hard. It's still kind of hard to tell what it is, but you know, one thing I've always said over the years was that there's a lot of like joke rap or like comedy rap out there, but it's always a comedian doing rap, right? Whether it's John LaJoie or a motherfucking Lonely
You
Island
call
or
him
whoever it
Jean
is.
LaJoie?
Isn't that his name?
It's Jean Lajoie, but I'm in Montreal, so like I know it's French, right? It's a French name.
I don't know. I thought it was LaJoie. I think he even says I don't know, fucking. But like
he might, but
they're
like
comedians. They're comedians that decided they're gonna do funny rap. But we're the only rappers that decided we're gonna do comedy, and so it started with the skill set, and then it just combined with the other skill set that we had that we didn't know that those two things could really mesh together like that. So it's just content, bro. It's just we just wanted to always do as much content. We used to do freestyle Fridays when one take Jaco, put it out, next, all types of content. That's why the rabbit hole that we have created. um I feel like if it ever did gain any kind of traction, whether even if it's 100 years from now and I'm dead, people will have an endless like amount of shit to just dig through if they like one thing. If they like one thing, like you said, you see one thing and you can just randomly click. Like there's just hella shit. Like what the fuck are these guys? They do battle raps. They fucking make hood shit. They go to Burning Man. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck are these guys?
that was my
There's just so
feeling.
much shit. There's so much shit that you could go through. It was never just reached on that scale. Like if we had 1 million YouTube followers or whatever the fuck it was, because it is kind of a niche thing where you got to hear about it a certain way and just kind of like the NWA shit. It's like, hey, have you heard this new rap is a joke shit? You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck is that?
Yo, but that's so cool. Like it's like you never sold out. Like that's a thing that comes up, the sellout shit. No, you just like in like a very pure sense of that term, you just kind of stuck to your own shit. Like, your fucking Instagram's private. I'm like, who the fuck keeps their Instagram private? Frank Stacks does.
Yep.
I'm like, that's serious.
I've always had all my shit private, which is weird because I just never cared about social media,
That's
which is
like
weird.
serious. And then it's like, but at the meantime, you got your shit unlocked for what matters. You got the merch in the back. You got everything there. It's like you care about the things that are gonna pay your bills, and you just kind of ignored all the vanity shit. And then all the hip people know what a Frank Stacks is. Like there are a few people. Oh shit! Somebody wanted me to ask you something when I posted the event.
Ishmael wanted us to ask him about the tournament. One of the battles that was the was it the one that you when you battled the Saurus? Who else was it that was on the list?
When I battled the Saurus.
Right? No, or was it the Saurus? Was it
I got
Caustic? What, like it was a big circle of y'all.
Oh, at the Caddy Royale?
Yeah, that was it.
Royale,
Yeah, so somebody asked, it was this guy, Uncle Dre, on my Facebook. It was ask him about the Caddy Royale and how he won because social media.
Oh, that's a great story, actually. So we did this Caddy Royale where you had to vote on it for the winner, right? And it was me versus Ilmac versus Marv One versus Real Deal versus Everybody Knows. And Ilmac, when the battle dropped, Ilmac goes and puts out a video on his YouTube, like like just one of those, like he's standing in front of the mic. I'm gonna just spit a whole song, whatever, like just a bunch of bars, and he's promoting, hey, go vote for me on this battle, right? This was fucking fantastic that this happened. This is something that you need to know about. But he puts out this video of him rapping and saying, go vote for me on this battle that dropped. And they put it out on, like, I don't remember if it was on Ruin Your Day or whatever, where obviously they had more of a following than me. And I'm like, I listened to that shit and I was so fucking mad that he couldn't just let it be what it was and win or lose the battle, that he actually promoted it that way. But it was actually kind of smart, because so what I did was I ripped the video off of his YouTube and I ripped a part of the beat and I had sent it to my engineer and he chopped it up and made a fucking instrumental out of his own beat. And then I rapped on the beat as if I was Ilmac, and then I layered the lyrics over his video, making fun of him the whole time.
Serious.
And it was like 2 or 3 minutes, and it was like almost exactly like the parody was just on point. and I'm rapping on Ilmac, but I'm making fun of Ilmac, and that shit went like viral, like 60,000 views. It got way more views than he got on his shit, like overnight. So I'm like saying, instead of saying, you know, he says vote for Ilmac, I'm like vote for Frank Stacks on the category Royale. That's the last thing I say on the battle, and I won. I got all the votes. So
he said, I won. I got all the votes.
But I went to the studio.
Like, that's what you get, motherfucker.
Exactly.
That's what you. That's don't fucking try to cheat. And so you were like, you know what? All right then. So then we're gonna cheat all the way. I'm gonna show you how to do it.
Yeah,
dude, that's amazing.
And it's funny because I mean, it's really incredible. And I even made the audio version available to download on BandLab because it's like a diss song. And that's the thing too. Like in battle rap, like I feel like, you know, people battle and talk all this shit, and there's a lot of behind the scenes beef. Maybe not as much now as it used to be, but like nobody was ever making diss songs. And rest in peace, PH. He was the only one who like I made a diss song about him, and he actually was like, you know what, that's what I do. And he came back and did a response to my diss song, which was wild because I didn't think anybody would ever respond to a diss song that I put out, especially in the battle rap community. But then I had people hit me up like, yo, who the fuck are you? How do you have PH making a diss song about you? Like, how did you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, because people know him from music as well. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not just battle rap. Like
not more so. Yeah,
he was already a factor in music in general. But I'm probably the only one that I know. There might be a couple other, but I've done multiple diss records, and I've murdered some shit. Like when I did that diss with PH, I was dissing Uno Lavos and Big Mac also. And Big Mac told me he retired after that one line I had about him. Like he just never rapped again. And Cali Smooth did like a diss about Caustic, and so I did a whole Cali Smooth diss on the Hit 'Em Up. I remade the Hit 'Em Up beat.
I remember that one.
And I fucking cooked him, bro. I cooked him so fucking hard, and there was no way he could respond to that. And there was no way Ilmac could have responded to the one that I did. I mean, you can't. It's one of those things where it's like, but at least PH did respond. And then when I finally got to see PH again, you know, it was like, thank you for fucking responding, bro. Because I hate leaving fucking bait out there and to not get taken. Like, and it's got to at least be somewhat comparable too. Like, if you can't respond, don't respond. But you know,
which is why I think that most of them don't respond, right? Like, right. I don't think that, like, they majority of those guys, like, you know, they don't understand the full scope of it and how to like really do it right in all those senses, which is why they're really good at battle rap in the format that it is. And you know,
there's dudes that are doing battle rap that have never rapped.
Yeah, no, you already know.
In their life. Yeah,
never rapped on a song a day in their life. Don't understand what it's like to be on beat.
That's also why I'm always an asshole, and that's why I don't like nobody either, because I'm a fucking hater, bro. I'll say it again and again. Like, don't expect me to love everything. And one thing I do not love is these dudes that just come in here because they're fucking super nerds of this subculture that we've created and just want to like replicate it without all of the shit that we did before. You know, whether it was riding around with a fucking boombox in your car or battling at the high schools or fucking trying to find a studio or trying to build a studio, like you didn't do none of that shit. All you do is fucking watch YouTube. So like you were saying, like with these new kids now coming out, when they're TikTokers and all the other shit, I don't give a fuck. I don't fucking like that shit. I don't like them. And that's why I did that. That's why I did that battle rap is a joke song, because battle rap is now a joke, because all the people that are coming in it, they're just like, hey, I want to be like this and I want to be like this, and look at me. I could come up with a cool rap name and you know, like,
you know, the names are pretty crazy nowadays. I'm just like, really? What the fuck? Yo, I used to hate, back in the days when we were doing it, there was a lot of names that I was just like, my guy, why? How do you name yourself AC? Like, I can't look up. When I Google AC, I get air conditioners and fucking like,
bro,
and like other AC companies that are huge. Like, that's the worst name. Or like GA, or like, it was GL. It was just 2-letter names that it was like, how am I supposed? What am I supposed to do with that, bro? Like you're giving me nothing to go off of here because I can't find you. I don't even understand why you would name yourself that.
If we sat
And
here and
now
thought
the
about it,
names are
yeah. If we sat here and thought about it, there's a lot of fools where their name, like Google ain't gonna come up with them as a result. Like
no,
Google is
no,
not
not
gonna
at
show them
all.
as a fucking result. And
The little homie C4, where it's just like, bro, you're named after a
yeah,
very popular explosive. Like, like
that's why
you're
I'm
never
glad.
gonna pop up first.
That's why I'm glad when you look at Frank Stacks or Rap as a Joke, you instantly get the search results
Yeah,
that you're looking for.
instantly,
You don't
instantly.
have to
You know, when you look up,
rap
when
afterwards.
back in the days when you looked up Dutch Vega, or even now, and like now like Flacco Bay or Lady Bros, like all that's always like, yo, I always before I even endeavor on a thing, it's like look it up, make sure that this is like 100% as original as I think it is, and it, usually is. So I feel you.
Also, it's convenient that rapisajoke.com is just and lidybros.com. Let's just be
Yeah,
fair. Are
yeah.
both convenient, typable in things, but also like really sticky. Like you don't forget rap is a joke, so it was
No,
easy
no,
to
no.
like remember that. Type it back in, go look at it. All y'all branding's on point. When you go look at your Insta, even though it's private, I could still tell it's the real thing. I was impressed. It was
The
really
Rap is a
cool.
Joke. The Rap is a Joke Instagram is
No, no, that one's public.
is the same, like the same, like I did all the branding like the same, so everything kind of matches up. That one's not private, but yeah.
No, but like even your like display picture on your private one kind of like validates, yo, this is actually Frank Stacks. He just has a private
Yeah, yeah.
Insta. So
Right.
All the logoing is always, on brand and everything. Like that's always something that I've always had wild respect for. But I mean, that's why I fuck with you heavy, which is like a thing that we were on. Majority of the guys in New York, right? Which is like, yo, we don't like we're battle rapping because, but like we make music, and like this is just to bring attention to the music because this is
Yep.
about music. Like if you're not good at that, then I just don't even understand what the fuck your existence and the circumference of what we're doing here
100%.
even is for.
100%.
Like that doesn't make no sense. Like, so but I understand. And back then, like you guys always had that quality, always. Like the sound was quality, what y'all were doing was quality. Like if it was a joke, it was like, yo, that was funny. That's a funny fucking joke. That's hilarious. Like that's really funny, but like good.
yo, but it's weird.
Not
It's
like
just like
ha ha, laugh at you. It's like ha ha, laughing with you at
Yeah.
like
Right.
this thing.
it's like you could tell that you were pushing the boundaries rather than trying to like piss people off,
Gotta use the bathroom.
or like you're doing it. Like you know why early Eminem's like fucking edginess is like cool? It's because you could like feel him like taking on the system in a sense and taking on
Right.
the censorship norms in a way where I was part of that like 2012 YouTube life shit. I know what it is back then where like a lot of that content was really about, like you said, seeing how far you could take it. But what's really different is you go back to a lot of these people and you listen to their shit now, and it's like the most cringy, like low barrier, easy kind of humor, and your shit's just like astute.
Appreciate that.
And I say it not like a lot because like I feel like I don't know, Nori does that shit on Drink Champ, so it must be effective. But the other part is like no, I was like bamboozled that I'm listening to this content that like would offend me, not necessarily offend me, but like the lack of effort put into creating shock value content is what offends me. It's not actually the content; it's the laziness into creating this
Right.
bullshit. Like you're trying to get clickbait, you're trying to go viral
Exactly.
shit.
100%.
Whereas you're not trying to go viral, you were just like making shit, or maybe you were trying to go viral. I don't really know.
It would have been nice. Yeah, it would have been nice.
But
But
if, yeah, it doesn't.
we were making, like I said, whatever came to our mind, we just did it. We just recorded it. It was like if there was a song that was on the radio that we thought we could make fun of it, we would just fucking do it. And like I said, we do have a bunch of shit that we didn't release. It's not because it's not good. We never recorded this. We wouldn't go into the song knowing that it might be bad. Like everything we recorded, we pretty much put it out. Some stuff just didn't fit in certain places, or we had too many songs on one album, or whatever it was. But it's like there's never a time where we write a song, record it, and then be like, oh, this song sucks.
Mm.
Because we would have known that before we got to that point. Like, this is a bad idea. We're not gonna run with this. But for the most part, like with the Lamborghini Mercy remake, Toyota Corolla, like that shit was like, you know, we don't have a Lamborghini. What do we have? Well, my car's broke down. Okay, well, let's do a song about our broke down car. Okay, well, it's four fucking verses, and you have to copy all these motherfuckers of who's gonna be who. Like, it just boom, it was just done like instantly because it just was easy to do it because it was like some real shit. Like everybody had a broke down car.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Fuck.
I love it, right? Because again, it's that connection with people. Yo, man, you the kind of people that people really would probably fuck with in this next like decade. Just on that, you get real people shit, and you're like cut through all the crap. Like that's why I find you funny, cause like there's no bullshit with it. It's just like, but you're also like kind of aware where the line is, so you're like not trying to offend people. You're just spitting truths and whatnot, and they just happen to be done in a hilarious way.
Right,
Um,
we're never trying to piss anybody off. Push boundaries with what comes out of our mouth, maybe a little bit in terms of rap, but we're not trying to be anti PC culture or anti, whatever. It's just rap is a joke. Is like El Money said it the best one time. He said, "Rap is already an exaggeration of life, right? Like, I got all
Right.
the bitches, I got all the bitches, I got all the money, I sell all the drugs, I killed everybody, I'm a killer, but the numbers don't add up. So rap as a joke is an exaggeration of that exaggeration. Satire, it's parody, whatever you want to call it. But we take that, and then we amplify it by a lot. And it's like, oh, you got hoes? Well, I bury them. I put hoes in the trunk. You know what I mean? Like, okay, let's take that and run with it. Oh, you fucking you be having threesomes with chicks. What about we did a song about we were having a threesome with a chick and we turned the lights on and there was a dude there. Wait a minute, what just happened? Let's bring it back. Let's fucking let's do some shit that's like nobody else is doing, but just make it extreme as fuck. Like just make it and hilarious. Like it's got to be like if we're not laughing when we're doing it, it ain't funny. Like we got to be laughing while we're fucking doing the shit. Like I said, when El Money was laying on the ground when I did that first fucking song, I couldn't see him in there. It's like that's how all the vibe has to be. There's no way I could go in the booth and start rapping about all the stupid ass shit that I'm fucking rapping about, and it not like do it with a straight face the whole time. Like it's got to be fun, man.
no, man, I like it. I like all of your process. I like how open minded you are to even do the things you don't want to do just because it's like a good thing to do. Like, you're an incredible person who's been doing music stuff for more than 2 decades, as I understand it, and you're still doing it to this day. Because the last I saw was some COVID babies video on YouTube, um, which,
Oh man,
which is
Oh,
what?
to which I was like, I think you might, technically speaking, have a COVID baby, right? I don't know if that's uh
we did like a song. I went to the studio to mix some shit, and Chris was like, "Hey, let's do like while we were in between mixing my songs, he was like, let's make a COVID song. I'll make a beat real quick. You just make a because we were just like goofing around, and I started saying, "Oh, Corona baby." It was called Corona. I got a Corona
Mm.
baby. 9 months later, I got a Corona baby. Like talking about everybody stuck in the house, so everybody's getting pregnant.
yeah.
And so we just literally that was like the quickest thing because I'm like, we got to mix this song and we got to mix this song. And he was like, I'm not mixing none of your shit until we do this song. And so we just did it real quick. I forgot we even fucking did that until you fucking said it.
Yeah. No, I just thought it was funny. Like, again, because it's like you think about it
That might
now, and you're like, every single baby that's born today is a Corona baby.
Yeah, yeah, that was a year ago. Yep.
I don't know. So what's next for you? Like, what does the future hold for Frank Stacks?
Um, I'm still releasing shit. I mean, there's a lot. What I would like to do is, if I have time and things get a little bit back to normal, is shoot a bunch of videos for these songs that I got. The songs that I got that I just finished are it's probably my best shit. It's a solo album. It's called Stackavelli, and it's where that battle rap is a joke song is on there, and a couple other ones. But it's probably the best shit I've ever done. And it's only like one funny song. It's like 15 or 16 songs. It's only one of them's funny, and the one that's funny is so fucking good. It could probably go. viral if I had the right video. So I'm kind of slowly putting out some of the audio on these, but I really just want to get get some good videos to going for some of these videos or some of these songs, and keep releasing them. But I haven't written anything in a minute. It's hard for me to write uh, new when I haven't finished the previous. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes all the sense. I relate to that heavy. Um, I don't know. No, but that's fresh.
Just
So
trying to get people to the website. Just trying to sell all this fucking merch because it's endless. There's hella shit. I made so much shit on there. It's just there's hella shit. There's music on there, videos on the Rappers Joke website. I'm just trying to get people on there to do whatever the fuck they want on there. If they want to watch videos or listen to music or buy a shirt, whatever.
I like that plug. But yeah, definitely is something you should do. Link is in the description for everybody. And it's rapisajoke.com. So it's one of those times you don't even really need the link because you can type that in rap is a joke.
Right. Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
real simple.
Can't forget that.
Nah, you really can't. It's really clever. And it's like, I don't know, I like it. I said that though a bunch. I don't know what else to say at this moment. I think you've been like super interesting and like your whole approach to life is riveting. Like would you go on Twitch? Cause like I'd fucking watch you talk about shit on Twitch.
It's funny. People keep telling me like, oh, you need to do a YouTube channel or get on Twitch and do all this shit, but I don't have no time for none of that shit. Nor would I even have the time to figure it out. Like I said, I built this little studio set up here. I didn't even fucking figure this shit out. I should be making songs in my house. But yeah, like if I had more downtime, and I would be putting out nonstop content and going live and doing all that kind of shit a lot more frequently than I do now. Obviously, I mean, than I have over the years. Really, I mean, in general, over the years, I should have been doing more, but still, I still feel like I got more content than the next man.
Yeah, nah, you do.
Like whether I die tomorrow, a lot of it's like timeless. So it's anybody can find it at any time and be like, wow, all right, cool, I like this, or they don't like it, but if they like it, they're gonna like the rest of it too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if they like it, they have a whole like catalog or the stuff to just
no, for real, like,
dig into.
Like it's so like when you said that you can just go on that app and there's like 9,000 Frank Stack just videos just sitting there. It's like, yo, I didn't even know. That was the thing. I just didn't know it was there. And now I have a reason to download this app and like actually go look into it, like
I did an album with Madness from Florida, Tony Madness, Critical Madness, another battle rapper. And obviously I had been making music with L Money like the whole time. And our whole approach was we just go to the studio and we just come up with shit. Like whatever like I said, we just come up with do it. When with Madness, we decided we want to do an album. I want to send you this. I wanted to mention it earlier because we have a song on there called the 80s and we have a song on there called the 90s. And it's our descriptions of both and how they influenced us, right? And there's a music video for both of them, which are fucking wild. That Kruger from Don't Flop in England made the videos. But our approach to that album,
who's great at making videos, by the way.
Great, yeah, it's fantastic. And but Tony lives in Florida, so I'm like, yo, if we do this album, you're gonna fly out here, we're gonna pay for studio time, but we have to be like done, ready to go. So when he came out here, we just banged the whole album out in 2 days. Everything was memorized and everything ready to go. That was probably the most fastest, most cohesive, like mapped out project that I've ever done. Like where we already knew the track list going into it. We already knew like what beats, we already knew who's doing what hook, what features we're gonna have come through. Like so, in 2 days we had to package that whole thing, and it's incredible. It sounds incredible. The quality is probably some of the best quality we've ever had, but it wasn't. At that point, it's like work. It's like a job. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta show up and do our job, and we did, and we killed it. And Madness on his last verse of the last song, he does like 60 bars or some shit. He fucking murdered that shit. And as soon as he was done, he just fucking threw up. He was like, "That's it." He's like, "I put it all out there. We're done. Let's go home." Like that's it. Like we literally killed it and puked his guts out. And it was like hard work, but it was like the dopest hard work I've ever done on an album, because we weren't playing around, getting free studio time, coming up with weird songs, like having fun. We treated it like, let's go out there and make the dopest shit we've ever made. So that would probably be the best album um, that I've ever done, like as a whole, like the whole project, other than the shit I'm working on right now that I'm putting out. But yeah, I can't go without saying that I did that project with Tony. That shit was crazy.
Man, I bet you got a lot. I bet you got tons more stories and a bunch of interesting things that you could go on about. Yeah, but do you have like any like big last things you want to convey to the folks out there?
Um, I don't know, man. I guess just check me out. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not like sitting here trying to take over the world anymore and do tours and do all the shit that I'm doing, but just check me out. It's entertaining. I like entertaining people. I like making shit that people enjoy, whether they're listening to it or watching it or whatever the fuck it is. I appreciate you guys having me on the show, because I do have a lot of stories. I do got a lot of shit to talk about. But fuck, we went for 3 hours, and I could probably go for another three. I've been holding my piss for about two, but you know, just check it out. Check out Rappers Joke YouTube. Get especially if you look like a little blunt, get silly. Check out the website, buy a shirt. Fucking
Nice shirt, yo.
I'll be around. I'll
I
be around.
promise you will not regret it. You show up somewhere with your Rap is a Joke shirt, you're gonna be the hit of the motherfucking.
I also got the rap costume shirt too, right there. So you can put that on with your rap costume. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. Go on rapisajoke.com. Frank, bless, bro. Like, thank you so much for being a brother and a comrade all these years. You my guy. You know how much I love you, and you know that shit's endless.
Bro, I can't
ain't breathing no more.
I can't wait till me and the wife finally come out there one day. We'll all get down.
Facts. Now, as soon as things clear up, we start discussing that.
Yeah. All right. Cool, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming through for real. I really enjoyed this chat. Like, I don't know, I like the way you see the world. You do a lot of things that are nifty, but like, still kind of keep it yourself, and that's inspiring. Just when you're trying to move in the world, it's inspiring to see that some people can still just be themselves as they grow up, if there's to put it. Like, so that's cool to see. So thank you for just doing this, because it means a lot, and thank you all for that watched it live and those that watch it in the future. You all appreciate it too, because that, like, it's a show. We all like the fact
we love
that people
you.
watch it.
Mortabella.
Thanks for end of the week for hosting it. Make sure that everybody goes and follows end of the week everywhere at EOWTV. I think I said that right. Yes.
EOWTV.
That's it.
Yes.
Put that / on your platform and you'll find them. And yeah, just thank you all again one more time. I appreciate it for reals. It's been a blast, and live long and prosper, everybody. Like, follow, subscribe, all that good shit. This is a terrible ending.
Right on, guys.